Lose it tonight, 96-90 to the Brooklyn Nets. Just showing how awful, pathetic this team is. You losing to a bunch of no names out in Brooklyn. Bucks lose at 96-90. They're tanking. Bucks showing you what they're up to today too. Come on in the room. Lot to talk about. Thought we'd be talking about Brooklyn and Milwaukee, but bombshells dropped early this morning. I mean, bang, 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 bang. I thought I was in Iran.
Wow.
Nah, I'm just hearing all the shells coming from the NBA media talking about the Bucks. But 96-90, we'll get into that. Come on in the room. We are live.
JT.
Chris King.
Justin.
All right, everybody, get at us on the YouTube, on the Twitter, in the chat, on your YouTube, on the Twitter at TC IIIESQ21. Again, we'll talk about everything that went on or at least things that have gone on today. And I'm a little under the weather, just so you know, so you'll hear me sniffing a little bit throughout the show, but we'll make this thing work. 96-90 was the final. Let's get to a very quick game recap tonight before we get into all the Giannis rumors and news. I like I say, if you're on YouTube, shout out to YouTube because I just switched over to YouTube TV. I'm happy with the decision. I'm happy with the decision to go to YouTube TV. I don't like there does seem to be more of a lag on my TVs. Not a lag, but that delay. Like, I feel like I'm 30 seconds delayed on games. Like, I see the scores moving, but, small price to pay. But anyway, 96-90. Bucks lose it to the Brooklyn Nets. Lags 92-20 is correct. Like the stream. Hit that like button on the way in. If you're upset at Giannis, hit that like button on the way in. If you're upset at Doc, hit that like button on the way in. If you stand with Kyle Kuzma, Doc Rivers, you ain't running nothing, big dog. You ain't running nothing. But let's do a quick game recap. AJ Green, 20 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 6 of 13 from the field, 6 of 12 from 3. Good on AJ Green, shooting the ball very well. That's what you want to see from him, especially if he's doing part of his team moving forward. AJ Green, man, I got lucky because we had the 9 early points to start the game. I immediately went to DraftKings, looked at his over-under, said, all right, under 21.5. And then he scared me because he got to 20. But I hit the under, and I appreciate it. AJ. Torian Prince, 16, 11, and 4. 1 block, 6 of 15 from the field, 4 of 12 from 3. He seems to have gotten back into a decent form from his injuries. Pete Nance, 8.6 assists. Usman, Jericho Sims had 12, 8, and 6 tonight. Jericho Sims again just continue to show that he can potentially be a rotation piece on a team moving forward. Usman Jang, 10, 7, and 3, 1 steal, 1 block, 5 of 12, 0 5 from 3, 7 turnovers tonight. Now again, you got Us Masquerade. He's not a point guard, so they got him playing out of position. And so that accounts for some of it. But I just thought he was far too careless with the basketball, far too careless in general this evening. And I was disappointed with his play on the night. Ajax, 3 points tonight. He was running around. Cormac Ryan, 14, 5, and 2. And again, I thought him 5 of 12, 3 of 6 from the 3-point line. I don't know. Is he from Brooklyn? I saw he kept talking about all his family there. Was he like from New York or something? Okay. So Cormac, and I thought it was a rough game. I thought he struggled, but I thought he to me that's what shows me that you can play when you're clearly struggling, but you're trying to make an impact. I appreciate the game from Cormac. The way he recovered, I thought very well. And Gary Harris had 7 points. Brooklyn, I'm not even going to go through it. Lydale had 21. Smith had 11. They had guys that made some shots. They won the game 96-90. Again, I'm not going to be too much on the game. You know what the Bucks are out here doing. It is what it is. You're just looking for development. Only thing I'll say on the game tonight is I appreciate that from AJ Green. Appreciate that from Cormac Ryan. I was very disappointed in Ousmane Dieng and how he played, and I expect him to bounce back tomorrow against the Detroit Pistons because games like tonight are games where I want to see Ousmane Dieng. Like you played a bum team who's trying to lose. These are takeover games for Ousmane. These are games where you should be showing I was 11th overall pick or whatever it was, and I got cast aside in OKC. I'm really a guy, and he didn't come out and do any of that tonight. So that's what I saw. I'll go to the Twitter real quick. To the super chat. Steeler Face with a super chat. He says, pretty sure those two Antetokounmpo clown bros are still better than Ajax. RP to bros NBA career. Better start checking housing options in Shanghai. Yeah, Ajax stinks, man. He's not a good basketball player. I agree. I don't know if the Nassus and Alex are better than him, but he's not a good basketball player. And I seriously wonder what's been going on with him, his development over the last few years. But anyway, Bucks was 9-6-9. That's what I saw. JT, what'd you see?
Man, it's tough because I don't understand how were the Nets the only team in the league who had not won 20 games coming into this game? They had to be one of, if not maybe one or two teams. We went ahead and let them win number 20. When you assess these performances, the team has already let go of the rope, right? So there's only so much disappointment you can have. We talk about all this time. We watch these games to let's see what we got, right? Let's see. Cormac Ryan, it wasn't a beautiful night from him, but I got to tell you, man, his last 5 games, shooting over 50% from 3 in all of them, double digits in all of them. Cormac Ryan, I want to see more. This is another. This is just more talent, more decisions, more things to think about in the offseason. Overall, I like what I see from him, and I certainly think that maybe he has a role in this team moving forward. Ousmane Dieng. Look, I would have never guessed that Ousmane Dieng would have more turnovers than the rest of the starting 5 combined. But here we are, right? 7 turnovers is a bit rough there. I don't know what this team was doing in the second quarter, but it was absolutely awful. I don't understand. Did we even score double-digit points in the second quarter? I don't know. What we score? Let me see here.
14.
Yeah, there we go. Right there. Right. Good and terrible. Look, the numbers don't lie, and it was it was that bad. But again, this team has let go of the rope. Nothing to brag about. We're learning. Gary Bird. Okay, I like it, sir. When you hear him shoot the 3 ball, he did that well tonight. But yeah, it's just one of those things where you're not disappointed over the loss. You're just really trying to evaluate what you see, and that's a weird spot to be in as a Bucks fan because generally before this year, we were always looking at, all right, what's the playoff looking like? All right, what's our first round matchup? When are we resting our guys? We're just sitting everybody out for the rest of the year. And now, it's not the case.
Yeah, to me, this was I like seeing TP come out and hoop. He's obviously coming back from an injury and had some bad games, but he's starting to string some good ones together now. And this is the guy that we thought, it wasn't a guy that we were pointing to when we're like, oh, we're so hurt, we're an injured team. But he can play. He can play a little bit, rebound the ball, make open shots. That's probably what we were missing for a little bit. But outside of that, I was hoping that this team would play better down the stretch. And they just didn't. You saw the inexperience. You saw the deep 2 from Ousmane that was contested when we had a chance to take the lead. You saw a couple missed shots down the stretch when it was close. AJ Green tried to keep us in it, but it just didn't happen. And, I can't be too mad about it. But at the end of the day, the Brooklyn Nets, they're putting out guys I never heard of. So you do – have some that's left to be desired with this Bucks team right now, and they clearly didn't show that they could beat a terrible team. So it's rough. It's definitely rough.
Let me jump in and do a super chat here real quick. Sorry, Justin, from Mr. Bees. Appreciate the super chat, Mr. Bees. He says, meant to mention for Sunday's game, I parked the closest to 5 Serve on Water Street 45 minutes before the start. Most Def headed to a different era especially without Giannis. Yeah, real quick. I mean, there's no question again, and that's why. And we'll see if he ends up getting traded. But that's why it's not. I think about just trade. It's not just about basketball. It's about dollars and cents as well. And when you lose, he's the cash cow. He's the cash cow, and you're absolutely right that no Giannis will affect businesses. It will affect development. It will impact all the things, the Deer District, all the things that you've seen overlap basically since 20, whenever Five Force came into fruition, was it 2019 or whatever it was, 2020. Basically everything since then and what they've built in that, it's going to have to now stand on its own without Giannis. If he's the guy who built it for all intents and purposes, it's going to have to stand on its own, and the Bucks going to have to find a new footing. Because I'm with you, Mr. Bees. It's going to be dead, and it's not going to be the same atmosphere unless you're able to put out a winning product fairly quickly. And even if you are, it's probably still is it going to be a championship product? Though again, those guys are few and far between, and that's why it is so hard. I think I'll just try. That's why the National is so cool. Just trade him. You got to do right by him. It is very hard. It's easy to say if you're not invested. But if you're invested in that community, if you're invested in the Bucks, if you're invested in the arena, if you're invested in development, it's hard to get there because you see where this thing goes. And I can see why our ownership group will be hesitant to make a move and make sure that's exactly the right thing. But I agree, Mr. Bees, and I appreciate the in-person editorial of exactly what you're seeing out there as you went to the game the other night. Sorry, just
a lot of that in Cleveland. The first time LeBron left, there were stories and stuff like that about the economic impact of downtown Cleveland. And if we do end up trading this gentleman, I think you're going to see that coming. Doc didn't come to the post game on where I normally get it from. So if y'all get some stuff in the chat, fill us in. I mean, I don't think it's much to be said from as a post game standpoint from him. A couple things that I saw. The 6 turnovers early in the game. That was bad. Playing a little bit of just brain dead basketball for a few minutes, but it's all right, man. He's young. And then Sims, I saw a key play in that fourth quarter was when I think it was Cormac went to the rim and got it blocked, or it might have been AJ Green. And I saw a good thing from Sims. I saw him seal the guy and dunk the basketball. And that's all promising for next year. And then I didn't think AJ was that bad at, playing the point, distributing the ball today. I thought he did a decent job with that, finding guys. Torian Prince was absolutely amazing. I agree with Chris. He might have been what we were missing. And, that's pretty much all I got on the game. I can't wait till we get to this other stuff, though.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's all. I mean, yeah, anybody, I mean, I guess I'll ask, does anybody have anything else on the game? And we could jump. At least I'm a little under the weather anyway, so I ain't trying to be here too long. But
one quick thing I forgot. It's just amazing how 5 years down the line, both franchises have changed in totality. I mean, this was an Eastern Conference semifinal series 5 years ago. And it really was probably the best series of the playoffs. I mean, I know that Kyrie got hurt, and that was super unfortunate. And Harden's hamstring was not connected to his body for majority of the playoffs. Get it. Totally understand it. However, Kevin Durant just put on a master. And, we don't got to recap it, but it's just crazy how you see how futile both of these basketball franchises are at this moment 5 years later.
Chris would be cracking me up.
That was all right, go ahead.
All right. Absolutely. All right. Anybody? I'll go around. Anybody else got anything else on the game before we jump into the latest news on Giannis and Shams and all that good stuff that took place this morning and throughout the day?
No, I mean, I just think that
two out of 20 wins this year, right? Didn't we lost one in December?
I think it was 45.
Late December.
The Doc Rivers effect.
Yeah, they
Google me.
10% of their wins this year coming from the Bucks. It's crazy.
No, to me it was just like, look, they didn't necessarily give up, but the game was just so bro, this shit looked like a college score after third quarter. Like, it was like 65-56, like almost at the end of the third. Like, It was awful, god awful. They didn't give up. They were down double digits, 11, 12, whatever it was. They brought it back, but I mean, the end of the game closing was horrible. Like they were going to be able to at least try to get a dub tonight, and they didn't do it. They were taking bad shots. They didn't get to the rack, and that's what happens.
That Usman's layup was so tough. I think they were down. I don't know if they're down 3 or 4, whatever it was. And he had a nice drive to the basket and just couldn't fit it. He's got to work on his finish. He's got a lot of stuff he's got to work on. He got a lot of stuff. There's flashes of talent there. A lot of stuff he has to work on. But yeah, man, let's get to it. Like I said, man, Doc lucky Jay Ivey ain't in the damn locker room. He be telling you not righteous. Let's see, man. Tell people you're not righteous.
Babbling.
Yeah, I saw. Man, did you see him? He was on. I saw him on a. I don't know if he was on stream, and his wife walking past him. She like ain't got nothing. She don't want nothing to do with none of that. It's rough.
He's tripping.
It's
the
rough.
Funny thing about Jaden Ivey though is like every time he's straight, like every couple times he's streaming from some airport. So I don't know if he's going to random places or where he going.
Yeah, he preaching the word.
I guess.
Preaching the gospel.
Preaching the gospel. Making sure people ain't fornicating out here.
Especially the journalists.
But like the crazy part was like his mom was getting all these accolades. She's the coach at Notre Dame, the women's coach, getting all these accolades. She lost, but like in the NCAA tournament, that shit going on, and then all of a sudden there's Jaden Ivey just going off the rails. Like, damn.
Listen, she's embarrassed. That man talked about I think he said alleged sexual abuse. All kind. She's like, Lord have mercy, this dude.
Yeah, ain't nothing you can do. You just gotta wait. Hope he get on his meds. All right. Y'all talking about I also I don't know any details. We gotta talk about that later. I don't know any details about
the YouTube working right now?
Thing. I don't know anything about this. Huh?
Is the YouTube working right now?
What's the question?
I just try to access the YouTube. I ain't getting that.
I think it is. Well, yes, they commenting. So yeah, Jake Roper said, what's the girl who was with the reporter that was with Mike?
Diana Rossini?
Yeah, we'll get to that later. We'll get to that later.
Hey, brother, Mike,
we'll get to it later. We'll get to it later.
Got to be more careful, Mike. Got to be more careful.
Bushes.
Wow. Let's go to talk about reports. Let's go to Shams from this morning. Basically broke a story. It was a lot. I say this. It was a lot of the same stuff we've heard. But then he did add this new lock. I think the stuff on Giannis, for the most part, as far as his disposition, was a lot of the stuff we've already heard before from Shams, the normal things. But the new stuff was really, to me, kind of the locker room dynamic. He tells a story of Bobby Portis going off in the locker room, similar to the story we heard of Bobby Portis going off on AG in Vegas at the during the the NBA Cup when AG was here. You have Bobby Portis going off on people. You have Doc Rivers calling Ryan Rollins and KPJ selfish, right? And then you have Kuzma coming to the defense of those guys, saying, "Hey, keep playing, keep your head up, whatever." And then that's when Kuzma gets benched. You then have the story of the locker room where there's a team meeting. Doc Rivers goes around and addresses everybody individually, tells Miles Turner he's disappointed in the way Miles Turner played, didn't address Bobby Portis, basically goes around the horn, tells everybody all the stuff about him, doesn't say anything to Giannis or to Bobby Portis, the two tenured members of the team. And Giannis stands up and basically says, "Hey, Miles, I'm not disappointed in you. I wasn't there. I wasn't available. So I'm not disappointed in you. I just wasn't there." And then, of course, you have, Shams. So, again, just showing the disconnect there between the coaching staff, between Giannis, Giannis and Bobby Portis, the main players on the team. And then, of course, you have the articles coming out related to the trades, because Shams said there was a gentleman's agreement. Not the first time I've kind of heard Shams say that there's a gentleman's agreement between the Bucks and Giannis that when he signed his last contract that they will quote unquote do right by him. If the time came where there needed to be a trade, and of course that didn't happen. And we talked before we got on about how serious the Bucks were in these trade discussions, what the trade rumors were, the fact the only team they got close with really was Miami, it seemed like, and Miami basically offered everything but bam. And at the 23rd hour, the Bucks basically said, yeah, thanks, but no thanks. We're gonna wait. All that said, I think two things. One, and well, I'll say three things. One, I still think Shams is embarrassed because the trade that I think he thought was going to happen last offseason didn't happen. I think he was a bit. I think he's a bit embarrassed, and I think that's why he continues to go on and on. He tweeted about the MBPA thing. He is on top of this story like no other. And it's a simple issue of Giannis. And again, I get Giannis is one of the best players in the league. I understand that. But it's an issue of Giannis being potentially traded. That's gone on. That's been a topic of conversation for years. That has gone on from Shams, at least from the last year, extensively. And I don't understand. You got this Kawhi. To me, the biggest story should be this Kawhi and what happened with the Bucks are totally out of it. There's nothing. They've been out. He's not even playing. And Shams is continuing over and over again, beating the story down. I want to know what's going to happen with the Clippers in this and this pick that they have and what's going on with Ballmer and Aspiration. I want to know what's going on with that. When are we going to get a punishment down from that? Why is Shams not beating down the door for that question? But he's all over the Giannis stuff. So I think he's a bit embarrassed, and I think he won't stop. Two, not only is he embarrassed, and my second point, and I get to the third. My second point observation is, I don't care what you say, Shams has an agenda because Lori Nickel spoke to Giannis. Number one, again, it's interesting to me. I listen to the story, and I understand that you can't have people go on the record with you all the time. I understand that part about journalistic integrity. I understand that. But one of the stories when he's talking about 6 people in the room told me that Doc Rivers said, Google me. So again, and I'm not doubting him. I'm not doubting that he had 6 people in the room. So clearly he's all over the place. He's got people telling him things. So loose lips sink ships too, number one. But there's an angle there. And whether because I've seen him get on TV, and I think he knows because I think he sees his Twitter. I'm not saying he looks at everything direct, but he knows that there are a lot of Bucks fans that get on when he does this. But he goes on TV, I see him, and he says, well, I'm just reporting what comes to me. I have to report it. Okay. Well, and again, that's fine. But everything you got is off the record. But it's interesting because Lori Nickel, local reporter, talked to Giannis. And again, I'm not saying everything is all good, but she got direct quotes from Giannis, where Giannis goes and tells you, "Hey, I'm not saying the relationship's so. I'm not saying we're that far apart that we can't do anything." And you could, and Shams can be absolutely right that he's lying or that he's just trying to save face. I'm not saying that he's not. But it's disingenuous when all you do is post, again, negative slanted things that speak to Giannis leaving when, oh, by the way, you were clearly wrong because he didn't leave last summer. But that's all you have is how Giannis wants to leave. And we got Giannis on record saying, no, that's not necessarily the truth. I'm not saying that Giannis could totally be trying to do a PR spin. That's fine. But Shams can't get anybody to talk to him on the record. He can't get a soul on the record. You telling me that journalistic integrity doesn't mean that you at least acknowledge that Giannis has spoken about this and he has in ways indirectly refuted what you're reporting, you can stand by your reporting and say, I've talked to 10 sources and I can't give, but this is what they're telling me. But you can't give the other, you got to at least give the other side and say, hey, Giannis spoke to reporters and said XYZ. Here's what I got, but here, you can't at least even get, you can't even give the other side on it. That's what I don't understand. And that's why I do think it's slanted. Third and final point here is I'm not naive to say when there's smoke, there's fire. There's no question. Like it's not that I don't believe, and that's what I'm saying. It's not that I don't believe Shams. It's not that he's lying. Yes, Shams says he has sources in the building. There's no question I believe he has sources in the building. There's no question. What I'm saying is I do believe he exaggerates some things. And I believe he tells it for an entertainment type of a spin. And well, getting away from the point. But the point is where there's smoke, there's fire. And this is, at the end of the day, yeah, and I've said this before, Giannis doesn't look good. I don't know if he thinks it makes him look good. It doesn't. But there's just a lot of turmoil and a lot of discussion, a lot of talk. And it's just not a good look for the organization looks bad. It looks messy. I mean, it is messy. And the whole, but like I said, to me, I don't know if Giannis, if he thinks he looks it, nobody looks good is what I'm saying about this. And then my last point, the last thing that came out, I don't know if you saw this, Doc Rivers, I think pregame, they talked to him. You saw some conversation about potential Taylor Jenkins replacing Doc at the end of the year. Doc Rivers, because if you remember, Bobby Portis went on record saying, I don't think Doc Rivers is going to retire. Doc Rivers kind of went between the lines and stated he wants to be with his grandkids a little more. He basically said kind of take that for what it is. That he wants to see his grandkids much more often. So I think he kind of confirmed without confirming the rumors that he won't be back next year, whether that's on his own volition or whether the Bucks have to do something to get rid of him. But like I said, take this wherever you want. Those are just my initial thoughts on everything. We can go wherever you want to go on this stuff.
So I think the Shams piece, right? The piece on it, and to your point on Shams, that's 100% correct. And it's not so much that he's not telling the truth, but yes, he does pound the drum on these, and he pounds the drum on all these stories about Giannis leaving and hangs on to that. And literally, what did he tell you in the beginning of December? Oh, Giannis should be gone. What did he say? Like mid-December or something? And then he turns around. Trade deadline. Okay, Pierre Johnson pivots right on off it and keeps it pushing, even when he's wrong, even when he's pushing this out, right? But I think the thing is, what gets me about this Shams story, because I agree, I think he does, like you said, he has some sources in the building. What gets me is that we have been saying, hey, there's a level of dysfunction. When did we start saying there's a level of dysfunction in this locker room, right? This season. It was December. You remember when we was like, hey, something ain't right here. This isn't adding up here. And we looked at a lot of different factors. And we're like, this team, I think it was after we lost the Wizards game. We were like, hey, guys, I think something's really wrong here. Like, this is really, and Shams confirmed that. One thing that I find interesting about Doc Rivers is, he's had a few stops now, and things have been a bit dysfunctional from, the end of his tenure with the Clippers to his tenure with the 76ers, and now with the Bucks. And, for a long time, he has a game left, Doc. Quite honestly, I don't know if the game left, Doc, but his ability to, I think, communicate and effectively build relationships and collaborate with folks 40 years younger than him is non-existent at this point. It clearly looks like. Did you read the article? He said something about y'all can Google my resume. Let me just tell y'all something at home. If you're ever in an argument about your current performance and you got to mention your resume, you're losing. Because what does that have to do with right now? What does that have to do with what's in front of you? If your boss ever says, "Hey Trey, you're not doing this right. You're doing this," are you gonna say, "You can look at my LinkedIn. I've been all these places and blah blah blah." That's not a rebuttal. That's not a rebuttal. And it's embarrassing that Doc had to even go there with this team and tell them to look at his resume when he's been coaching them the last couple of years. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. But it just goes to show you that there seemed to be a lack of trust. There seemed to be a lack of cohesiveness between coaches and players. But one thing that I kind of liked about this article, when Giannis stood up and had Miles Turner's back, when Kyle Kuzma stood up and had Ryan Rollins and KPJ's back, right? These dudes were in the locker room playing for each other. And this does confirm the fact, I think they did check out on Doc to an extent, but they still had each other. They still had each other's back. The guys on the team were trying to stick together. And I think that's part of why when Giannis was talking about, I like this team, I like these guys, I think he was being genuine. I think he was being very honest there. But yeah, just sad that it's gone out this way. Sad that this team, not only are we one of the most dysfunctional franchises in the NBA now, but just sad that we're going to go into an offseason and it's going to be a roller coaster for Bucks fans, because we haven't had this roller coaster in a long time. Most of the time it's been about adding pieces, right? It's not been – we never have taken it seriously that Giannis is going to leave until recently. And now this offseason we really are – the question isn't so much as is Giannis is leaving as much as, who's coming in the door, right? Like what is this team going to look like? Because I think it's clear that there's probably going to be some wholesale changes in this offseason.
To me, it's interesting that you bring up the dysfunction, JT, because I think even before this season, when stuff was coming out, when Giannis and Dame were on the same team, I think we even hinted at that. Like, this team could possibly be on the rise to dysfunction. And I think it's really just hitting the fan now. Like, all of these reports, some of them contradicting, some of them may not be that reliable, but just like you see a multitude of reports. Giannis wasn't happy with the roster ahead of the season, and the Bucks still went with it, right? And then he's also sticking up for the guys on the team now. And like, it's so much like reports out there that I don't even know if I can trust them all. But at the same time, like, I have been a main proponent of, like, Doc Rivers he is not it. And I've called that multiple times. Like, last year, even 2 years ago, even when he took over for AG, like, I think most of us on this panel have not been super fond of what Doc Rivers has done. And at the end of the day, it still goes back to the front office. It still goes back to Giannis, right? Like, if our sources are correct and what we know, like, this is what he wanted, right? This is the roster he might have wanted. So, like, at the end of the day, I hate it. I hate what's going on. It sounds like this is, like, nearing a real breakup, and it's a tough, like, realization to come to. But also, like, the Bucks have to definitely assert themselves. Like, the actual franchise has to draw a line somewhere, and they're gonna do it now. And I think that's probably the best. Like, it's too much going on, too much coming out. I don't like it. I can't even focus on one exact story if 20 of them come out on the same day. It's just like, this is dysfunction, JT.
A level that we have not seen in how long? Decade?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So I think this is absolutely disgusting. And I texted to you gentlemen earlier. I don't think it's just disgusting I think it's disgusting on Giannis. It's disgusting on John Horst. It's disgusting on Wesley Edens, Haslam. And it's also just disgusting. So first of all, the whole thing of Doc saying you had to Google me, that's a conversation between coaches and players. And I don't know which player's the one going out there saying this stuff to the media, but, like, get him out of Milwaukee. Just, I don't want you here. If you go tell that to the media of something that Doc said because you all weren't listening to him, that's more of a you problem. Even for the Kuzma thing, and credit, I was listening to Sparky. Sparky's the one that first brought me the post-game legend, the original post-gamer, I think, for the Bucks. That the problem isn't Haslam, it's Edens. And when you think about it, it made me sit back and think for a second.
Give me more on that.
So, Edens, when Lasry left, Edens wasn't talking to Lasry. They left out of this. You talk about dysfunction. They left out of dysfunction there. Now you bring in Haslam, and Haslam brought in his guys. But in the Lori Nickel interview, Giannis made mention how he doesn't talk to Edens. He used to talk to Peter Fagan, and he used to talk to Lasry all the time. And then it's also been made known that Giannis doesn't talk to Horst anymore. So I agree with the dysfunction. And then it's the thing that Giannis said, that you got to pay me a lot more if you're going to have me making these GM decisions and all that other stuff and running the team. So allegedly he's not the one that refuted Atkinson or Nick Nurse. but it was the ownership group. And I think when you looked at Lazary, and credit to Sparky with this, Lazary's a dude that just liked to hang out. He wanted to come and be around these NBA guys, and he wanted to be in the mix. Edens is more of the business standpoint, and I think Edens is the one that vetoed the Giannis trade because he sees the economic disaster it would cause to Milwaukee. And then you got Haslam. Who knows what Haslam does? He's your next governor coming up, though, so all stuff could hit the fan there. With the Kuzma thing,
Edens has lost some money too. I'm just talking from his net worth. He's still filthy rich, but he has definitely lost quite a bit of money. But he has less money now than he did when he first bought the Bucks, for sure.
And you're gonna need Giannis in order to make money, and you're gonna need another star, and you got to hit on his draft pick, right? For the Kuz thing, when he was talking about KPJ and Ryan Rollins, if he's bigging up his teammates and encouraging them after they got a beatdown session, that's one thing. But we can say what we want to say about Doc Rivers. His resume can't really be questioned.
Yes, it can. Yes, it can.
Resume can't be questioned.
Yes,
He's a Hall of Fame coach.
Resume and
What
current
have you done
performance,
for me?
two separate
What have you
things,
done for
sir.
me?
I'm gonna just tell you right now.
Go back to your era. What did Janet Jackson say?
Resume and current performance are two separate things. Like we learned that with Bill Belichick.
What
Resume
Janet
and
Jackson
current
say, JT?
performance.
What Janet Jackson say, JT?
You said what?
What Janet Jackson say? What have you done for me lately? That's all I want to know. That's all I want to know.
If you got a bunch of guys who aren't listening to a Hall of Fame coach, I think it sheds more on Kyle Kuzma's character if he's defying the coach.
We're not about to do this today, Justin.
Hold on. And you know what?
No, let me finish.
Rivers is a loser for mentioning him because
get me out
of here. Let me finish my point.
Stop it.
If he's defying Kyle, if the coach is telling them that they're making bad plays and they're not doing this, how many guards has Kyle Kuzma developed? He came from a loser ass franchise in Washington.
Whoa.
Who the hell are you to come in here and say anything about anything?
Why is it Kyle Kuzma's job to go and develop point guards? That's not his job. That's not his job.
You know what? Stop it.
You're missing the point.
The
point that I'm making is that Doc Rivers has developed Hall of Fame point guards. Kyle Kuzma ain't did nothing but lose since he.
When the last one he developed, Justin?
CP3.
No, he ain't developed CP3.
No.
Yeah, maybe CP3.
No, he didn't develop CP3.
He developed CP3, but that's man, he was coached.
At this point, I'm cool with letting Kyle Kuzma go.
Is Rondo in the Hall of Fame?
He should be.
Yeah, I don't know that again, Doc Rivers yesteryear. You could talk about all the things he did in the past, and that's fine. Like you said, JT, your if you talking about, and like you said, he can't be questioned for what he did back in the day. His recent, it was questioned when he got to Milwaukee. That's the first thing we did was say, man, this team can't get over the hump. Why would you hire Doc Rivers? That was the first thing I said. Go through his resume with the Clippers. Go through his resume with every. Look what he did with Orlando. Look what he got veterans in Boston and won a chip. Outside of that,
So wait, but you're missing my point, because if I'm talking about, and that's absolutely what I'm talking about. But if those players in the locker room are not listening to their coach, then that's more on them. They done nothing this year. Kyle Kuzma has done nothing to defy a basketball coach. Not one damn thing in this league. And the Bobby Portis stuff, when Bobby Portis was calling him out, he was calling him out because they're lackadaisical. We sitting up here getting slapped around by 30-something points and guys going through the motion, laughing and joking, and Bobby got an issue with that, as he should.
Whose fault is that your team getting their ass whooped by 45 to the Brooklyn Nets and y'all not prepared every single night? Doesn't that fall on the coach some? At least whose fault is it? You talking about listening to coaching when they ain't listened to the last coach and they were 30-13 and your ass got it. What's Doctor 96 and 101? That's the record you done put up with him.
And Doc Rivers had his team get blown out by 25 plus points.
They said it was complete ass.
This season. Come on, man.
We talking. I can't believe you're gonna sit up here and defend. I know Sir Squid is your guy, but he was wrong too. Doc Rivers.
So I'm not defending Doc. What I'm doing is calling Kuzma out because he's the last one that should be talking about anybody. He's not a winner.
But neither is Doc with the Bucks.
Right.
Stop it. No, listen.
They all losers, right?
What Doc was doing clearly was not working. What Doc's leadership under this team has been piss poor, right? It's been somewhere between bad and piss poor. I'm leaning a little bit more towards piss because now it feels like we're standing in it while we talk about it because this team is so terrible, right? So there's piss everywhere. But at the end of the day, I certainly think that listen, man. These men are grown men. They're professionals. They're playing for their lives. They're playing for their family. If your leadership is shaky and they don't believe in what the fuck you're saying, and they all look, when I hear Kuzma stand up for those guys, that tells me that this team probably has some meetings like, yo, I don't know what the fuck this dude Doc's talking about. Some of this shit ain't working. We trying to buy in, and we can't buy into something that don't work. I think there was just a bigger disconnect there, but I'd love to see that because Justin, from my perspective, that's a team that's still sticking together. That's a team that's a team that says, you know what, I still got your back. All right, we're gonna go, and they're still showing up for each other because I think they checked out on their coach a long time ago. I do, and I think that's been clear. And if these articles are telling you that this team has been checked out on Doc. So the fact that they're still standing up for each other tells me you still give a damn, at least about the man beside you. That is important.
But also, real quick, I'm just gonna go because at the end of the day, these 2 point guards that we had on our team, it's not their fault. It was never their fault. Ryan Rollins, KPJ, it was the front office's fault that they couldn't get a competent third guard. It was the front office's fault that they had to deal Cole Anthony, that they brought in Cam Thomas to try to go search for another third guard. At what point were these guys not supposed to be selfish? Both of those guys were at some point in this season, quote unquote, the second best players on our basketball team.
Right.
I just don't understand why those guys get the flack when the wings, they couldn't make a damn shot. You talk about Gary Trent, AJ Green, both of those guys they disappeared for the majority of the season. Taurean Prince got hurt. You had to bring in Ousmane Dieng to get a competent wing, and then you also brought Pete Nance back from a two-way contract, converted him to a real contract. There were holes that were not involved at the point guard position. The only hole that was at the point guard position was that you had no depth.
That's a great point. There's a great point as well from Clayton that I didn't even think about. Kuzma has a ring, just like Doc. Kuzma, you said Kuzma not a winner.
God.
You said Kuzma not a winner. He's won more recently than Doc Rivers. You can't
So
dismiss that.
we really gonna hold a seventh option bubble ring
He was not
as
seventh
what,
option.
Yes,
what Doc
because the ring. Yes, that's exactly.
How many
what
wins?
he did win a championship.
How many wins? So first of all, now y'all turning this into defending Doc Rivers, which that wasn't my point.
I don't know why you went down that road.
So let me clear something up else for you as well. I can agree that Doc has been lackluster in Milwaukee.
He's been piss poor. Let's be clear here. Piss.
Pack of ass.
Urine.
All that, but see, you can't, when you look at this level of dysfunction that we have, you can't blame Doc for all of this.
You're correct. No, I agree with that.
You can't. So this,
but he's not absolved from blame either.
This year has been lackluster. The end of his Philly career with Ben Simmons quitting and all them dude, all that weird stuff he had to deal with there. He's not been in great situations. But however,
but Justin, hold on. Hold
on.
But
he got
go ahead.
1,600 some wins.
You talking about? You tell me. You give me his career resume. Here's my issue, Justin. You mentioned Philly. What I'm now starting to see, this is a trend where locker rooms and certain. You saw as soon as he got hired with the Bucks, JJ Redick came on First Take and was basically called Doc Rivers out. You've seen him have issues with Ben Simmons. You've seen him; he couldn't control that team. Chris Paul and Blake Griffin were going at it. They had dysfunctional issues in that locker room. Now you come to Milwaukee, and it's a dysfunction team basically since you got here. It's what I'm saying is you're talking about his resume from the past, which is the rings and how he got himself to the Hall of Fame. His more recent resume tells me that he's been in the middle of chaos and dysfunction and teams that have not reached their potential. And again, you're right, it's not all his fault. I'm just saying Doc Rivers has been in the middle of that more often than he has been on the standing on a podium for winning rings. This is what we've seen from him, and this is what people warned us about, and what we warned everybody. What we talked about when he first got here. This is what people thought could potentially happen, and it was the worst case scenario. And Doc Rivers, again, not all his fault. He has 100% contributed to the madness and dysfunction. Again, that's just it's a bad story that came out. I'm not saying that Kuzma is defying him, but when you jumping down the throat of Ryan Rollins and KPJ, and then Kako just trying to get, hey man, we gonna keep our heads high, man. It ain't y'all fault, dog. Like I said, Doc Rivers has no room to talk in any of this because he has not performed up to his standards at all. If he was getting if he had a performance review, he'd be a does not meets.
Yeah, look, and here's the other thing. Kyle Kuzma, Ryan Rollins and KPJ, when Giannis got hurt, this was a tailspin. This whole thing was in an absolute tailspin, and everybody was trying to make something happen because your MVP caliber candidate, your MVP caliber player was just out of the mix. And remember, there were times where Ryan Rollins was the only guy out there because KPJ was hurt, right?
But JT, you know who else I hold responsible for that piece? Giannis, because I'm holding Doc and Giannis because when Giannis was there, when he was playing, remember those interviews he would come out the post game and be like, people playing selfish, he was doing that same kind of talk. So I think Doc Rivers, again, I agree with you though, Justin. It's not all Doc Rivers. Giannis has been a terrible leader this year. He has been a pathetic leader.
Yeah.
One foot in, 1 foot out. He has been. I get the injury standpoint, but from a leadership perspective, pathetic this year from Giannis Antetokounmpo. No question about it.
That's fair.
Well, I think, and that's why Bobby had to stand up and call the guys out for going through the motions and stuff like that. But I just hate how a lot of Bucks fans discredit Doc for his complete resume of what he's done as a basketball coach.
Because how does that help us?
It doesn't.
That's what I'm asking, though, Justin. How does that help us?
It does, because that's why he was brought here. Because when you look at the guards that he's coached,
that boy was on
and
ESPN,
maybe that's why
Justin.
he's getting on.
That's why he's getting on. Out.
Who?
Doc Rivers was on ESPN, and then we brought him. We bought him out at ESPN to come coach a team that was already 30-13. I don't understand. Like, the league was telling you this guy is not fit for the current NBA. And then we still went and bought him out of ESPN to come coach a team that was already 30-13. Like I don't.
A team that was yes, the 30-13 were they flawed? Yes, but boy, they had a good thing going, especially offensively, and they were and more likely than not, they was figuring this thing out. I don't understand this move. And again, there are some Bucks fans who think firing Bud was messed up. To that I would rebut and say, well, he did win that championship 2 years after. It was just a continuously slow decline. They took some significant amount of regression there. We hired AG. There were people who questioned that move, but we at least saw that play out for 43 games, and more likely than not, we're pretty satisfied with the outcomes. We had a historic offense. Yes, the defense was an issue, but again, should he have run that season out to the end? You better believe it. We fired him for what in the middle of the season? Because we said, we got a chance. We got a chance to win this team 30-13. Let's get an experienced coach in here. And he took this thing right into the ground. That next season, same thing, underwhelming. We made the playoffs, stunk up the joint, didn't really matter. It's just when you talk about this, I agree with you guys. Doc does not deserve all the blame. But we are the most dysfunctional franchise. The Wizards. I think the Wizards probably have to own that. We are one of the most dysfunctional franchises in the league, and this offseason is just going to be key. Honestly, this offseason may determine our next 5 to 7 years.
I wouldn't even say like when you look at the Wizards, like I would say we're still more dysfunctional than them because it's all these reports. Look, at least the reports aren't coming out. Yeah, they're not in the news every day. There's no articles on them. They're making stupid ass decisions, but that doesn't mean that there's locker room talk coming out, and everybody knows what's going on in the locker room, and everybody knows who hates who, and like all of this stuff is coming out on the Bucks, and we are the most dysfunctional team in the NBA, in the association. There are teams worse than us, probably worse set up for their future, but at the same time, we are up there. I don't know if anybody has this much drama.
We have to be the most dysfunctional because, the Wizards are what they are. But the only reason why we're not as bad as the Wizards right now is because 34 has saved us. But my whole point on Doc and to lead to more of that dysfunction is you fired a man that was 30-13 or whatever his record is. And at the time, Doc was all you had to bring in unless you were going to take somebody off that bench who are you going to take?
You couldn't. So, I would say you couldn't do no worse. You couldn't do any worse than what Doc has done.
And then what?
No,
I don't know.
Seriously,
if you put a younger coach in there and you have a Giannis get hurt, you have a Dame get hurt, you have a Middleton hurt, I don't know how much better it'd be. Then you start the next year and Dame blows out his Achilles. Giannis is here and there. He's hurt all the time. Like, it's a terrible situation. It doesn't hold to Doc's true legacy as a basketball coach in the NBA.
Absolutely.
If Doc had that team in Boston right now, they would not be number 2 in the East. No chance. Nope. No chance he would have them 2 in the East. And it's funny. I get the other thing that's funny because I want to get to Giannis a little bit too. But Giannis came out and was like, "Oh, he mentioned Boston." He came out and said, "Oh, look, I look at Joe Mazzulla and those guys had injuries and they play hard. Look where they are." Did you see what Joe Mazzulla came back and said?
No, what Joe Mazzulla said?
Mazzulla was basically like, "Well, again, I don't know if this is an indirect shot or what." Mazzulla basically came back and said, "Yeah, it helps when you have." It's not about the coaching. It's about guys that are committed to playing high competitive basketball and wanting to win. He said it's about the players being committed to being high competitive players and wanting to basically buy in and win. Ooh. That's what he went. And so I don't know if he meant it that way, but it certainly came across like, yeah, you can say it all you want to, but it's about the guys. And again, the Giannis with 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I just don't think he did a great job. I think I'm not saying it was his fault. Again, I get injuries and all that. I'm not saying it's all. I'm not placing blame on any one person, but he didn't help. He didn't help.
No, but Trey. I think
y'all doing me like they did like the spaceship people when they were talking to Trump and they was waiting for. They was sitting there and he was talking to it and everybody sitting there looking at it.
No, I think.
By the way, for those of y'all who watching this thing, I'll just tell y'all the rumor is there's a 2-week ceasefire in Iran. All right, we ain't got to get into it. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw that out.
I was just gonna go with okay, look, Giannis has certainly played a part in this, regardless of which way you want to spin it. It's like contradiction after contradiction. Like, he says he wants to do one thing, does a different thing, and it's happened all season. Doc, at the end of the day, you just look at, and we honestly monitored the record he has with the Bucks. When they started 30-13, the record was getting closer to 500 already. And then all of a sudden we look at this terrible season, he's below 500 as a Bucks coach. So there's a lot of people that have a hand in it, and at the same time, I don't know if they want to take credit for it. Doc is over here talking about in the press conference, I'm on my way out. He didn't say that deliberately, but that's kind of what I got from that. And it's you guys went and crashed and burned a franchise and then do not want to sit in the fire. They don't want to do it. So to me, it's I'm, again, like I said earlier, I'm drawing the line and I'm doing what's best for the franchise at this point.
I think when you look at it like that, I think, and that's kind of what Sparky's point was, you look at a lot of this, it's on Edens. Edens kind of helped facilitate not taking Nick Nurse, allegedly, not taking Kenny Atkinson, bringing in Adrian Griffin. The biggest thing is we fired Bud without a plan of action after that. And we're paying for it now. And do I think the right decision was to keep Bud? I don't know. But I know one thing, Bud would have had this team in a much better situation than what it was in under the previous regimen, both of them. AG started out well, but we didn't give him the full complete thing, but he didn't have the buy-in of the players. And that's huge. What's crazy is like, until this report came out, it seemed as though Doc had to buy into Giannis and some of the other guys until this stuff comes out. And I mean, regardless of who comes in next, if these dudes aren't going to listen to the leadership that's put in place by the owners and stuff like that, like, we going to be in the same situation. It's not going to change.
Solomon Joel says, which coach do the Bucks bring in to fix the issues? Plus, the Bucks need a coach with strong in player development. Again, you saw the report that Taylor Jenkins is going to be a strong candidate. I know a lot of people talked about Mike Malone. Of course, Mike Malone going to UNC. So that was an interesting hire there. I also kind of wanted to ask you guys about the report. I don't know if you saw it, that Giannis, another reason he may be upset is that he's actually, so he missed an incentive in his Nike deal where he needed to play at least 41 games. And so some people are saying that's one reason he's upset, because he didn't get this incentive, and that's what, the Bucks hold him out of games. To that I say, JT, you know how contracts work. If Nike wanted to waive that, they could easily say, if Nike could waive that if they want to. Two, again, you've been hurt, you've been injured. He's had 4 or 5 different injuries. Now, again, I do believe that the Bucks I do believe that Friday night, Giannis will be, for whatever reason, I would be surprised. I would be shocked if Friday night at home against Brooklyn, Giannis is not in the lineup and playing, getting, whether it's a farewell, whether it's just an opportunity to play with his 3 brothers. Somebody else made a good point on Twitter, though, when they were talking about, because Giannis talking about, I want to play with my brother. I want to play with my brothers. Well, wherever team you want to go to, the Bucks been so bad to you, and the Bucks been so terrible, and the Bucks have been so that you got to go to the NBA PA and all. Oh, there's no question. There's no question that you go to the Knicks, you go anywhere. There's no question they would bring your 2 brothers on too, right? Because if a team that has treated you bad and won't let you get a contract and won't let you play, if a team that bad has brought in your 2 sorry ass brothers to let them play, let they sorry ass get a check, I know for a fact wherever else you're going, they gonna bring them 2 on at the very least. If the Bucks been so bad to you, so I don't know why you would think you got to play with them on Friday, or you got to play with them, because you should have plenty of opportunities to play with them wherever else you're going. If that's the case, Mr. The Bucks did me so wrong. Did you see Draymond Green? Draymond Green made it cool. Draymond Green was like, he loves what Giannis is doing, because basically the same thing. The Bucks, the only team in the world that hire your sorry ass brothers to play basketball. Listen. And you go up there and say, screw y'all. Y'all, yep. Screw. Are you kidding me? But again, that's Hollywood for you, to bite the hand that is fed your sorry ass brothers playing basketball. I'm sorry, Justin. I know we just screwed up the Antetokounmpo's deal. We was
listen, right.
They done with us now.
No, he gave us his ass to kiss, right? And that's the thing. Now, having said that, is this?
I like them. I like them both. I like them. But they're not good basketball players. I like Bronny James. He's ass. Good guy.
We got to call it how we see it. It is what it is, right? I think the thing, and that's interesting too. That's something to think about, is teams where Giannis is going to go. Are they willing to bring on and put the national active roster? I mean, I'd imagine
they better.
That's got to be part of the discussions. And then what does he try to strong arm and get Alex in there too? I mean, that's a really fair question. I don't know if he plays on Friday though, because
really.
Yeah, because you have all this stuff with its investigation now. Did the league close out its investigation into the Bucks?
No, not that I've heard that that's closed. But I would think that. So let me ask you guys this one last question. One more thing. Do you think it's over? Do you think there's no way he can come back? Because to me, if you think there's a way, if you're to believe his conversation with Lori Nickel, that they're potentially, because like I said, Giannis mentioned going to couples therapy. That's what he was like. There was still some way you could reconcile. If you're telling me, because to me, I would think, okay, throw him a bone, let him play 20. He's not going to tear his ACL, tear his Achilles. playing 20, 25 minutes, letting him run around with his brother for 5 minutes on Friday night. Wouldn't that be the olive branch if there was an opportunity to get this thing back and sign for 4 years, 275? Wouldn't you at least need to get him a wouldn't you at least need to think that you let him play on Friday to do that?
That's if you want him. That's if you want him. I don't know. Giannis just said a week ago, I don't know if we have a repair a relationship, right? Wasn't he making those comments? He was like, I don't even know where we can go from here. I don't even know, right? Like when he was mad, he's like, I want to play, right? And he said all that. Now, Laurie Nickel gets the story. He says something different. I don't know. The hardest part is this season has been clear that you can't trust what Giannis says. You just can't. You cannot trust what Giannis said. And to your point earlier, this show, when you said where there's smoke, there's fire, they're 100%. So I don't know. You could maybe, but on the same note, if they're looking to really move him, you don't want to take any risk at all. But then the other thing is, if he's really not clear, he's not clear. We just there's too much ambiguity. Like we don't know. Is he clear? Is he not clear? Can he play? Can he not play? He refused to play the 3-on-3, but he said he's ready. Okay. Well, the Bucks didn't clear him. Why haven't the Bucks cleared him? No, there's just so many questions now. I just think miraculously him playing on Friday, I wonder if that leads to more issues for the Bucks from the league office.
I think at this point, to me, it's like, regardless if you play him or not, I think Giannis is showing what he wants. Like, have we thought about that? Like, have we seen all these reports, seen what he's saying publicly, investigating his own franchise? Like, does he want to be here? Like, I can't come to that conclusion that there's any want to, even with we can go to divorce counseling and stuff. Like, I think this is a ploy to get out of Milwaukee. And if that's what he wants, then I don't think.
But why not say that?
Well, because he's not going to do that.
Because he's going to harm his image. He's always played.
It's already harmed.
But I'm saying the loyalty gimmick. This, I'm going to stay here, and this is my effing city, and all of this stuff. Like, that is out of question now, I think. And if, like, he's saying all this stuff and contradicting himself left and right, like, to me, I think he's deliberately telling the franchise that you guys are going to be on the hook for me leaving, not me. Like, he doesn't want to own up to it.
But what I'm saying is that line of thinking has not worked for him. Nobody, like, that has not, like, not. And again, it's not just
but he'll always have that to he'll always have that to fall back on in the national media eyes, because I think I don't know that. I think we see. Listen, I think we see that as Bucks fans, but I don't think the national media all the way sees it.
No, that's what I was going to get to.
Like, Draymond, yes, Draymond knows. Like, Draymond is an NBA basketball player, but everybody else you see is, like, blaming the Bucks.
Yeah, they may – no, yes, I agree. They're blaming – so, yes, I do see people blame the Bucks for what they put around him. But what I have seen, not just from Bucks fans, but also from the national media as well as just other fans, people are tired of what Giannis is doing.
The bullshit.
Not that they are absolving the Bucks from any blame for, and again, I think that's what's unfair about this whole thing. But I think they are. I've seen enough to where it doesn't look like they're buying Giannis's story either. And what they think is, you're saying this bullshit out in public, and privately you are requesting a trade, or you are making all these back channel moves. Nobody believes anything. So I guess my retort to that is, I don't believe what he's doing is what I don't believe what he's saying is working. Not only is it not working on Bucks fans, I don't think it's working in national media. To your point, though, Chris, I do think, he thinks he can fall back on it because he says it, but I just don't know who he thinks is buying this outside of him.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that. Yeah, I can see that too. And I think, like, regardless, I think in his mind, I think he truly believes that the majority of fans and the majority of people will blame the Bucks. Like, I think he's that delusional.
Yeah, for me, man, the more Giannis keeps doing this stuff, man, I'm sorry, mama. Keep looking like a hoe, man. Like, it's just hoe shit. And it just keeps continuously happening. And you think you're outsmarting us, and you go tell your little goofy ass dad jokes and stuff like that. And at this point, we're past all that. And it'll never be the Bucks' fault. Just like it'll never be Giannis's fault. It'll be when you divorce, it's never one side's fault or the other side's fault solely. It's a collective bullshit bringing by both parties. But like what Giannis got to do, man, he just has to stop this stuff, man.
When you say stop, what do you mean? When you say stop it?
All the finessing and all that stuff, man, because you're not finessing anything. Like, if you don't want to be here, that's cool. I would respect it more. Put my junks on eBay. All them Greek freak sneakers. But I would respect it more if you was just like, yo, dog, like, this ain't it for me no more. I want to take my family somewhere else. But in that Laurie Nickel article, something else was brought out that he said out of his mouth as far as how he can walk around Milwaukee and be normal. How his family is respected there. His mother is loved in Milwaukee. His brothers are loved in Milwaukee. His wife is loved in Milwaukee. You go to New York City and you go 3 for 13 from the free throw line. Let's see if that love is still the same. If you go and you have 4 offensive fouls and you cost the Knicks a playoff series, let's see if that love is there. Or here's another one. If you're out there in Greece hooping, healthy, leading them to a bronze, and then you come back to New York and you can't deliver even an Eastern Conference championship, let's see if that love is there. Because the thing about Giannis, what I don't think he really understands what a lot of Bucks fans, and this is why they say I'm so against Giannis, we love this brother unconditionally. He will forever be the biggest Buck. Get well soon, Offset. But you can't just keep punking us and playing us like we're hoes and like, oh, you're not going to do, oh, it's not me, it's not me. No, bro, it's you. Like, just point blank period, it's you. I never in my life, this is about to sound crazy, I never in my life thought I would agree with Theo Pinson.
I saw that.
He was 100% spot on the first time he called Giannis out, and I tried to throw shade at him. You know, we keep it 100 on this show, so my bad. You know, and everyone talk about his credentials and all that stuff. He said he's tired of the Giannis stuff. I'm tired of it. Either way you stand, with the exception of, like, you know, a couple of them super Giannis fans, like, you know, we got a couple of them in the chat. We ain't gonna mention them bums though. But those only ones that are free Giannis. What does that mean? Free him. Please send him to New York City. But the problem is now our Kool-Aid is so diluted, right? Kool-Aid. We on sugar-free Kool-Aid now because we're not getting nothing back for him because of his injury history and his public bullshit he's doing.
I don't know that he doesn't get anything back. I think, and I will say, in that with Shams, I saw him talking earlier today, and he said that he thinks the same offers will be there, if not greater. They do think he's the only way he could nuke this is if Giannis says, I'm only going here. If he takes that option and says, I only want to go to New York and I won't sign an extension anywhere else, that's where you could find yourself into some problems, as far as what or Miami. That like if he tried to pick a destination, that's where the Bucks can run into some problems as far as value. But as long as you have 12, like I said, like Sham said it today, you're gonna have a dozen teams that are gonna enter the sweepstakes. And it's, you know, we'll see if Giannis we'll see if Giannis is we'll see if Giannis accepts a trade anywhere. Not that he could deny, but we'll see if he is willing to sign elsewhere. Still faces, we're getting 25% of the Rudy trade at this point. But that has nothing to do with waiting too long. But what I'm saying is that has nothing to do with waiting too long on it. That's where the league is for whatever reason. That's where there is no more seven picks for. They've decided, I believe, because of the new era of the league and where things go, that teams aren't willing to do that anymore. That's true.
Bogdanovich off the Bucks on that illegal tampering crap, man. Like, we're gonna get the short end of the stick, and it just is what it is. What do you say?
Well, I'm saying Quick Draw says he's going to pick his team, but again, here, if he does that, that's what I'm saying. That goes back to Chris's point of I'm a loyal guy. At some point you're either going to have to not be the loyal guy, but if you go to where I'm picking the team, then what was the point of the last year of all these lies and talk? If you do that, right, he's going to get killed for doing it. He's gonna get killed for doing it.
Well, and here's the thing, like, so guys, has anybody thought about the worst case scenario where he doesn't want to come back, he doesn't agree to a trade because he realizes the next year that, look, I can opt out. I can, I just put out last year here in Milwaukee, fine, I can opt out. Worst case scenario, if that happens, then what?
Well, they wouldn't do that.
You would hope.
The Bucks have already said they're not going to do that.
Right, but
he
if he
doesn't
doesn't
have
agree to the
trade clause.
trade, you have a different issue.
You might not get as much. If he wouldn't commit to the team, you might not get as much, but somebody would definitely take a flyer on it. Yeah, you'd get. There's no way. There is a 0.0% chance that he will continue on through the season and you not get anything back for him, and you have no contract signed. And he doesn't sign the super. There's no chance the Bucks that would be organizational suicide.
That's what I'm saying. That would be, to me, your worst case scenario. Is this thing gets ugly enough? He says, I'm only willing to go these places. The org kind of says, all right, well, those places aren't giving us value commensurate to you, so we're in a standstill hold off, kind of like the Portland Dame situation. And we're into the next season trying to move this man.
No, I'm just saying that wouldn't happen. That's not. There's no way that would happen, Justin. I'm JT. There's no way.
What did
Because again, Portland ended up they ended up
doing it. It was in September, right? But
what did they get? What did they get for Dame again? I forget that now. Two firsts?
Did we give up 2 ones?
And they got Drew Holiday, which they were able to then flip for, to Boston for another pick. So and that was and again that went to us. But yeah, there's no way you leave him on there. There's no way he either starts the season and he signs the deal on October 1st or he's traded. Even if it's a rental for somebody else, somebody would do it. And again, they may not give up the farm for him, but you can't risk not getting anything for him. You just can't do it.
I just said.
Go ahead.
I just sit here and you think about that end of that Future song with Metro Boomin when Jay-Z comes on it and you're like, your hero lives so long he becomes a villain. And I think that's where we're headed with this stuff, man. And hey, real quick, Clayton, whatever, Clayton, I can't read all that stuff, man. My vision's terrible, but Chris King will tell me what it said later on. But Clayton, the reason why Bobby isn't getting the smoke for me, because I think when you saw him calling out those players, he's the only leader on his team. And if Bobby Portis is your only leader, that's sad. And look, just to clear up one last thing before we move on, I do not feel like Doc is a great coach right now. I do not feel like Doc is the best coach for this situation right now, and I do not want him back next year. However, I just don't like, if it's true what some of this stuff's been saying on the radio, that players have been disrespecting Doc in his role. I got an issue with that, because no matter who we have in this seat, if you're going to disrespect the head coach, we don't need you in Milwaukee, because we just talked about the dysfunction for 20 years. But go ahead, Trey. My bad.
Hang on. I'm sorry, guys. Let's just go. I'm struggling here because the ADHD is a beast. Diana Rossetti and Mike Rabel did not release a joint statement. This is not real. This can't be real. They didn't, because we retweeted it. Green City Crossover retweeted it. Tell me Diana Rossetti and Mike.
Yeah, they
Rabel,
did. They did.
This is a real joint statement?
Yes. Yeah, they're together.
Hey, well, JT,
go marry other people.
No,
JT,
they must be in a. Now again, they haven't. I don't see it's confirmed, but yeah, there must be a separation going on. There must be a separation.
I'm not an unk in denial like Trey. Shade intended. JT, help me out with this Diana Rossini, and I don't know what everybody's talking about. So
basically, they got pictures of her and Mike Vrabel looking real cozy at the hotel. The coaches do the hotel in Arizona every year. They go to the little convention or whatever, and they got pictures of Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel hugging up on each other, like looking real friendly. And everybody's like, "Wait, hold on." So, Page 6 or New York Post, somebody released a story, and one group of friends was like, I think it might have been Rossini or something. Like sources were like, well, they said, oh, we were with a big group of friends and that was happening. We weren't just there alone. But then they asked a bunch of other people, and it was like, nah, they was up there alone. We wasn't even with them. And so, it just looked messy because Vrabel and Rossini are married at this point, and don't nobody know what's going on. But it also looks messy on her end because remember in 2015, the Washington Commanders GM's wife came out and was like, "Oh, she's allegedly trying to hook up with people for stories and trying to trade sexual favors for stories." Well, she said this back in 2015 about Diana Rossini. So it just looks bad.
Yeah, it's definitely it is a bad look when a reporter's out there doing that. But yeah, I'm assuming because remember what was that those reporters, the TJ, what's his name, TJ, and remember the reporters that were
and TJ Holmes and old girl
and TJ Holmes and then the funny thing was the spouses then got together. They basically did like a wife swap where they got together and then the husband. So the on air people got together and then they divorced she divorced her husband. He divorced his wife, and then they got together. And so they were like, oh, well, it just works out because the kids can kind of still, because they didn't live too far from each other. It was a whole mess. Anyway, but I want to go to this point from Monacore, who says, and he's true, but again, it goes back to the points. But he says, Giannis has all the leverage now. This isn't going away anytime soon. A 1-year deal means he controls where he goes. He then goes on and says, every single star player has done the same thing. Dame had multiple years on his deal. He had no leverage in where he went. Giannis has all the leverage. You're not wrong, Monacore. However, going back to the point we just made with Chris King, Giannis has to assert that leverage. And if he does not assert, well, two things though. If he asserts the leverage, then what the hell have you been doing the past year trying? Because once you assert that leverage and say I'm only going here, now PR's done. You really wasted an entire year. You might as well have said trade me last year if you wanted to go. Why would you assert the leverage now? You wasted a year trying to play a PR game that you lost anyway to then blow it all up. So again, you're not technically, Monaco. You are correct. He does hold leverage, but why would you wait a year to assert it? Because you could have, if you really wanted to go somewhere else, you should have used it. And again, it would almost be different if he didn't say anything, but he came out and said the exact opposite. So to now come back and say, you know what? Actually, I am going to blow this whole thing up. I would be like, what? You literally, what were you doing? What were you trying to prove to everybody? I mean, he already to me comes across bad in this situation. He would come across even worse if he came out now and said, I'm only going to 2. You want me to tell you the only place the only place he would look good at is whatever team he said he wanted to go to. If it was the Knicks, now then you'd have Stephen A. Smith and them boys. Oh, he should have. You'd have that crowd, but everywhere else he would look like an asshole. He literally like an entire. He would have made an ass of himself if he does that. So Monaco, again, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, but it makes no sense. If a PR game is what you've been playing, and he's been playing it.
Well, at this point, I think we got a lot of credence into the Lori Nickel article, and Lori Nickel's a great Milwaukee Journal Sentinel reporter. I don't think he leaves. I think, number one, the amount of money that he can request from the Bucks at $270 million keeps him here. I think he mentioned Dirk Nowitzki in that article as well. And I mean, there's just so many things that you go to New York City and the pressure flips tremendously. You go anywhere you leave Milwaukee, there's a mountain of pressure. You're a god in this city. Your family is highly respected, like he said. And I just think he stays, man. It doesn't benefit him to leave because you can go to said city and you still come up short and then you look worse. And then, like Trey just mentioned, your whole loyalty gimmick is dead. And Jace, like, you're dumb. I just said the entire thing is disgusting from all different aspects, from the Bucks, from everyone, from the ownership. We just talked about Edens. Maybe you got here late and you missed all that stuff, but yeah, man.
Welcome back to Jace Buck and 6 says, I'm not saying Giannis did everything right, but this organization does not know how to build around a superstar. And now you're mad that Giannis is calling out the organization. Again, just stop there for like 2 seconds. You say they don't know how to build around a superstar. You asked for Damian Lillard. That's what they built. They gave you, so you don't know how to build around your damn self. You asked for Damian Lillard, and they got you Damian Lillard. And you talk about, then the other reason you say you don't know how to build around a superstar. Maybe I don't know how to build around a superstar who's never available to play. How can I build around a superstar who's always hurt? You the one missed time all day long. And so that's what, now you mad at the organization because they didn't, now maybe they didn't build around you not, around anticipating that you wouldn't be there. But Giannis wasn't, when all the important stuff happened over the last couple of years, Giannis hasn't been there. You missed out on the playoffs when Dame first got here. And then Dame missed out on the playoffs the next year. And then you played 30-some games that you didn't play half a season this year. So again, and again, these are things you asked for. You got them. And now, and now, I guess from my perspective, it's Giannis is saying, I got to go because y'all didn't get it right. Again, half the problem was you were hurt.
And if you look at
quick,
if you look at this panel, I would say that all of us don't want this thing to break up. I mean, look, we've done 3 full seasons on a team with Giannis, and we've enjoyed every moment of it. But the shit off the court, the shit that comes out all the time out of the locker room, as soon as shit hits the fan, like, I think everybody is tired of that part of Giannis. And so, like, I think we would all welcome Giannis back with open arms. We would welcome a post-game show that contains Giannis every game of next season and 4 seasons on. But at the end of the day, like, if drama starts leaking and our post-game shows are more focused on the drama of this, like, I don't think that's what we prefer.
No.
Oh, listen, we would welcome him back provided that something changes. This current situation cannot continue, right? Like, this current situation cannot continue. And like I said before, Giannis, John Horst, Doc, 2 out of 3 got to go, right? So who are the? I mean, this cannot continue. If the Bucks can keep Giannis, get a new GM in here, get that man feeling good, get him to sign the extension, make some competent, hire a decent head coach. Hey, let's do it. Let's run this thing. Let's do it, right? Maybe we got to hire a new training staff too. Even though training staff want to travel to Greece, because that's another thing that needs to stop. Again, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole tonight too. But provided that we don't do the same thing that we've been doing the last, yeah, absolutely, bring him back. But if this is going to continue, right, or if he's going to be here and he's not going to be happy and he's going to, playing these games in the media, you had 1 foot in, 1 foot out. No, you got to go. At that point, you got to go. So if he's going to be here, he's going to be committed. We're going to go ahead and put this past us genuinely. We're going to get a new coach in here, maybe a new GM too. Hey, I say let's run it. But if it's going to be more of the same heading into next year, absolutely not. You got to go.
I just want to ask y'all one quick question, right? Just one quick question. And this goes back to the Edens taking a lot of this blame. Why did we block John Horst going to Detroit? Like, why? He wanted to go to Detroit and be whatever, and we stopped it because whatever. If he's just a pawn in this situation, if he truly doesn't have any decision-making capability, because I don't think it was John that was like, hey, I don't want Tyler Hero, I don't want Ware, I don't want that mountain of first-round picks. I think it's all the owners, primarily your governor, Edens, right now. Why block Horst if we're just going to leave him out to dry like that?
Wait, hold on. So, Justin, hang on. Jump into this, because this is kind of one of those things that flew under the radar. Give a little background on the story of what happened between Horst and the Pistons.
So Horst had an opportunity to become the president of basketball operations or the GM or some type of thing a little bit higher up than what his role was here, and the Milwaukee Bucks blocked it. Or maybe it was just GM.
It would have been basically the same role.
Same role.
This was last year, right? This was last offseason?
I think it was 2 off seasons ago.
I think it was 2 years ago.
2 off seasons ago. Okay.
And the Bucks blocked him from going to Detroit. If we're going to let this gentleman fall on the sword, and if I'm John Horst, I'm not coming answering your questions in the media either if I know that I have no say and I can't do anything anyways. Why am I talking to the media about these bad decisions that I can't make any decision about? But if you're not going to let Horst go, then why hold him hostage here and essentially allow his career to downward spiral? Because I don't know if Horst gets another role after this, especially the worse it gets going forward.
I think the reason they did that was I'll go back further, Justin. Do you remember how John Horst was hired? So if you remember how he was hired, Justin Zanuck was supposed to be the next in line to who is now, I believe he's in Utah. Is he still in Utah? Justin Zanuck was next in line to be the GM of the Bucks. If you recall, going back to the governor owner situation, Edens and Lazary had to agree on who on big decisions like this, like a GM. Edens and Lazary, and I don't know who didn't like Zanuck. One of them didn't like Zanuck, and so John Horst, if you look at it, he actually has a very unconventional route to getting to a GM role, because John Horst, from what he was, and I can't remember his title before he was a GM. That's not you don't go from there to GM. So what ended up happening was, instead of going Zanuck, because one of those guys didn't like him, they went down like 3 or 4 levels, maybe it was 2 or 3, to get to we both agree on John Horst. And remember, and again, John Horst wasn't too far removed. Again, he was the guy. Now you have to say he was John Horst is the guy who taught Giannis how to drive. So that's where So when Giannis got to the league, John Horst was the guy they sent, and you're not sending nobody high up to teach the guy how to drive. So that's where John Horst was, and he got himself to the GM spot in relatively short order because they had to go down the line to go pick him. Now, fast forward to a couple years ago, my guess is if they had that much trouble selecting a GM that they both liked when there was already a ready-made guy to go do it, my guess is they say, you know what? We both already like this guy, and this is a total guess. I could be wrong. We both like this guy. Yeah, no, we're not going to let him go to Detroit and get up out of here because, who knows where we end up going with, at the GM route. And then, two, again, I think it was from a continuity standpoint. Yeah, you talked about that article, Justin, where Giannis said, I don't even talk to Horst anymore. I used to talk to Lazarus. I don't talk to Lazarus. I don't talk to these people. I don't talk to ownership. At that point, a couple years ago, Horst taught him how to drive. So if you wanted Giannis to stay and keep him happy, I need some continuity in the building. No, I'm not letting John Horst go to Detroit. Even if you don't get – now, again, I don't think he doesn't make any decisions, but I know he was losing influence. Yeah, no, I want a familiar face in the building to see if we can get Giannis to make sure he resigns. And remember, after the Bucks got Damian Lillard, he did resign.
You know, he said he talks to on a regular, though? He still talks to Peter Fagan,
who Jimmy Haslam just kicked out in favor of somebody else as well. The only other thing, and I know we got to wrap here, at least on this stuff, but this is a good conversation and good stuff in the chat, because I wanted to get to, there's one other point somebody made that I wanted to get to. Oh, Young City 4241 says they didn't put the right roster around Dame and Giannis. But again, to that point, remember, JT, you just mentioned they got Dame late. They had a roster that in ways you're correct, because that roster really wasn't meant for a Damian Lillard. They had the opportunity to go get Dame late in the picture because it wasn't working between Miami, because Dame tried to get his way to Miami. They couldn't get it going. You're right. They didn't have a roster built for. They had, again, you had the dude who was Malik Beasley ended up being your on-ball defender. It was supposed to be Drew Holiday. That's why the Buck defense was so ass at the guard position, because instead of Drew Holiday and Malik Beasley, it ended up being Damian Lillard, Malik Beasley up top. That was never the case. But Young City, you say they didn't have a right roster. They were 30-13. They had a roster got them to 30-13, and then they decided to blow it up. And who was a part of that? They had a roster got him to 30. You said they didn't have a roster around Giannis. They went and got the guy he wanted in Damian Lillard. They were 30-13, and then Giannis decided Adrian Griffin wasn't good enough.
Wasn't Middleton hurt too?
No, he was always. That's the guy that should have traded 2-3 years before. Crazy thing is, one of the best moves that ended up happening. About the only good move they made that ended up being the correct move was to trade, which was one of the moves that was panned when it happened, was trading Chris Middleton for Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma, I don't care what you say, he is an upgrade over Chris Middleton.
Oh, by far. At this point of his career, yeah, absolutely. I don't even think you can deny that.
John Hammond did not teach Giannis how to drive. John Hammond, old ass, was not in the car with Giannis. John Hammond was old as hell. He was a GM in the Bucks. John Hammond was 65. He ain't teaching. Why the hell would I have a senior citizen teaching Giannis how to drive?
I think it was Peter Fagan that taught him how to drive. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was truthfully Peter Fagan.
I might have to look this up. Go ahead. Hold on. I thought it was Horace. I could be wrong.
I mean, I think we're at the point now where that should have
been a trivia question for the tickets.
You gave away some tickets on that. I think we took a roundabout way to get to this, but I mean, I think that was my point.
I think Solomon's looking at this AI overview. That I'm telling that is incorrect.
I truthfully believe it was Peter Fagan because they said.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you. I got it. There's a Nike documentary about Giannis. He says that his GM, and when he was talking about GM, he meant the current GM. So maybe that's why AI thinks it was Hammond. But when he said his GM, he was talking about the current GM, Horst, at that time. Horst was the director of basketball operations in 2008. That's what I meant. So you don't usually go director of basketball operations to GM. That's not how that typically goes. And I'm just gonna tell you, Solomon, the reason I know for sure it was not Fagan. Here's how I know for sure it wasn't Fagan or John Hammond. Because I tell you, let me tell you, if you're the GM of a basketball team and you got time to teach a 18-year-old who ain't never drove it, who's from Greece, who ain't never drove a car in his life, if you got time to teach him how to drive, I don't know what the hell you doing with your job. You got too much time on your hands, buddy. You don't have time to teach nobody how to drive. You're the GM of a team. You teach somebody how to drive. That's not a thing. Not a thing.
And regardless of which one it was that taught him how to drive and stuff like that, I think all that aids into the fact that I think Giannis will continue his tenure in Milwaukee. Like I said earlier, I don't think he gains anything by going anywhere else. Chris has talked about it. JT's talked about it. Trey, you've talked about it. I've talked about it. You go somewhere else, and it's not really you. If you go to San Antonio, it's Victor. If you go to New York, yeah, it may be Jalen. It may not. But you're in a situation where you can just cement your legacy. And granted, I mean, where is Dirk at in your top 15, 20, 30, whatever the case may be? Who cares? He's number one in the Mavs history. And that's what Giannis can go down at with a top 50 at 50, a top 75 at 75 player who was rostered by this team. So, hey, Giannis just got it. He got to cut it. The Bucks got to cut it. John Horst got to cut it. Doc Rivers got to cut it. The entire coaching staff has to cut it. We're in a state of dysfunction, and it's all parties involved from number 1 on the roster to number 15 at the roster. And if we don't change this stuff, I realize we're 10. In my wildest dreams, I never thought and I lived through the 80s, and people talk about not the whole 80s, but part of the 80s. People talked about how bad the 80s and the 90s were. We had a lull for a while, but I never thought we would see 10 straight years of playoffs. That's crazy.
I'm actually looking at.
I say some free Lil Durk, by the way.
No, I'm actually watching
Hey man, did Offset really get shot in the ass?
No, they said that's a lie.
Okay, I was gonna say I just had to know. Wait, hold on.
They said he didn't snitch either, JT.
You know what? But I saw Des Bryant. I sent you all that link. Des Bryant talking a story about how Offset owed him 8 bands, and then trying to act like he was asleep.
Yeah.
Like, bruh.
Offset cooked.
What's wrong with Offset,
He
man?
cooked.
Acting
He's
funny with money.
Better go get Quavo do a reunion
That's
tour.
even worse. If you addict like that and you got money, like, hey, that's bad. At what point do you
Free
just
food
stop?
is crazy.
All right, I you know, let me, you know, here, like you said, I just had this. My bad. I've been looking at this. All right, you know what we do on this show, Justin? What'd you say? We keep it 100,
Keep it
right?
100.
And
Yeah.
when we wrong, we have to apologize for being. Well, you got to call out. John Hammond did teach you how to drive. Yep, I was talking some big boy shit. My bad. Who said it? I went deep into the bag to find this, and yes, I found a Milwaukee Journal Sentinel article. That's why I was looking. That's why I was a little silent there because I'm reading him. I had to go in the bag and find because then I got real curious. Hammond said we had a lot of 50 yards as a basketball player, but early on as a driver, we had some real concerns. We worked on parking. We tried to work on parallel parking, all in preparation for his test. So yeah, there is some conversation where John Hammond is on the record saying that he helped Giannis pass his driver license. So
Yeah, because Trey, Milwaukee way different where you learned how to drive. Like we still got a parallel park to get that L's, by the way.
Yeah, parallel. I had a parallel part to get it. You know, I did have to do. I tell you, I did have to do a 3-point turn, which I nailed. I didn't tell you that. I didn't tell you. So it's crazy. You know, I actually failed. The first time I took a driver's test, I failed it. I don't know if I told y'all this. I drove because my biggest concern is 3-point turn. Flawless. I mean, you know, 20 minutes. I killed the driver test. Let me tell y'all this. And I'm not joking. Maybe 60 seconds left in the drive as I'm basically taking it back to the DMV. When I say it started misting, I'm talking about a mist on the damn windshield. I'm not even talking about a drizzle. I'm talking about a mist. I just drive it right back. I mean, I can see. I get out. I know I've done everything perfect. They come back 5 minutes later, told me I failed. I said, how? I said, oh, you didn't turn the windshield wipers on when it started raining. I said, oh, y'all bullshit. I was heated. I didn't turn the windshield wipers on when it was raining. It didn't rain, man. It didn't rain. That's how I knew it didn't rain. Because if it rained, you know, my mama ain't know what. She would have had an umbrella if it was raining. She stood outside waiting for me to come back. It wasn't no damn rain. Think a black woman about to stay out there and get her hair wet? Come on now. Why would she stay out there if it was raining? That didn't make no sense. Anyway.
Chris King, you passed your first one?
Absolutely.
What about you, JT?
Yeah, I passed my first time.
Nah,
you know what?
Trey's
I take that back.
Y'all here flexing.
Oh, right. Yeah.
No, I take that back. I fucked up. You know, like in Virginia, there's the signs or whatever. Like you got to know all the signs or whatever too. And so I messed that up once. I had to retake that. But
you ain't passed that test?
Man, listen, brother. No, hell no. I was like, what the fuck is this? I didn't know. Hey.
You know what that deer crossing meant.
Yeah, I was like, but so I failed that once. But the actual driving thing, yeah, it was cool. Failed that. I passed that first time.
Okay.
I passed my joint. I put on my daddy jazz station. This is back in the day where we had the Brave LeSabe, and you had to put the cassette in the joint to play your CD. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I passed the first one though. So hey, man, that's cool, man. Trey's the only failure on the show. Keep going.
All right. Well, I'm glad. Young City said he failed. Ian Fastest failed. Shaq B said he slipped his instructor in the 8th. I don't believe that. All right. Oh wow. Anyway, all right. Anything else? This is a long conversation. Good stuff. Good conversation about Giannis and the Bucks and Doc Rivers and where things stand. Anybody? I give you another. Anybody else want to hit the floor on? Oh damn, they calling you Unc for real. Shaq before said Justin
Model T is crazy.
Model T, damn.
Nah, man, I had an '89 Buick LeSabre, aka the Brave LeSabre. And
Say he had to pass a horse and buggy.
Listen, we was in every piece of traffic that Milwaukee, Wisconsin were having that joint with the Black Rob bumping. What you know about it?
Did Black Rob die?
R.I.P.
I don't think they had a radio on that
R.I.P.
Black Rob passed.
R.I.P. We just killed the club.
I remember Black Rob. What was it, like 2000? He had that "Let's Get It" or whatever. What was that song called? His lead single.
No, he had Whoa.
Well, he had Whoa too. Right. That was in the 90s. But in 2000, he had that Let's Get It, right? Like the little "Take This Money, Make This."
Oh yeah, he was definitely on that joint.
Yeah. That was the other joint. Yeah. I mean, you know.
Yeah, smooth.
I like the 90s and 2000s hip hop. I just don't rock with the new stuff. I can't do it. Can't.
Oh, you ain't on that new Bully?
The new what?
We gotta get. We'll get to that. And we'll get to that and look around. Get to that and look around. Huh?
Go ahead.
Yeah, nah. JT, we about to go. Example 1895. While JT is an in a second.
I'm not even down about it. Trey wants to be a YN. Trey is also a
Yeah, he for sure. He fell asleep in the movie, JT.
Yeah,
definitely.
It was a kid's movie.
He falls asleep with every movie, probably.
Hey, I ain't go to sleep. Hey, April 24th, I'm in there for that Michael Jackson. I ain't falling asleep in that. I ain't gonna fall asleep in that. I'll be up. That Mike Jack movie, I'm up.
Trey, did you ever see Deion Sanders play live on the football field?
Nah, I don't think I saw Deion. Nah.
You ain't
what do you mean live?
Like,
what do you mean? Did I see? Oh yeah. I remember he played for Ravens. Yeah.
All right, you're an uncle if you saw Deion play live.
Nah.
He's a whole coach right now with no toes and no bladder.
Yeah, I remember Deion playing live because I remember because he was sorry as hell with the Ravens, and I remember he ran a punt return back like 10 yards and was acting a fool because he made like one juke.
He played with the Redskins too for a season, and
did.
Also, he played with the Redskins too for a season. I remember that. I remember when Deion played for the 49ers for a year.
Yeah, see, what year was that?
It was like 95.
He played for the Niners.
Oh, nah. I ain't say I don't remember the see. Yeah, nah, I don't remember him playing on 9. I remember when Jerry Rice was playing. He had them braids at the top of his head. And
that was with the Raiders because that was the Raiders. Jerry Rice's braids over his ears. Yeah, that was the Raiders. I remember that when he was with the Raiders. Remember Jerry Rice with the Broncos too.
Damn, I remember
the Broncos.
I remember when he put that bucket of fried chicken on the commercial he was eating. Remember he had the helmet and the fried chicken was the face mask, and he got mad because he was eating that chicken. You remember that? You remember that Popeyes commercial where he had the chicken?
Yes.
He had the fried chicken face mask.
Speaking of chicken, this is my annual time. Once a year, I still will never forgive you how Milwaukee acted when that Popeyes released that damn chicken sandwich.
Oh yeah,
I will never forgive Milwaukee for that. Y'all,
that was everywhere.
That's when I was taking them 2 liters out the back door on East Capitol. Sorry, Mom.
My grandma. I was like, "What you doing, grandma?" I wait an hour. If I said, I don't even wait no hour for no damn
chicken sandwiches. Popeyes chicken sandwiches. Black Twitter
I said, I know you didn't wait no hour for no chicken sandwich.
They said 3 unks and Chris. Yeah, I just be sitting back like, damn, I wasn't even born yet.
Hey, nah, you'll see it one of these days, and you be like, damn, who was it? Barry Sanders' kid was playing football.
Yeah.
Like they're playing in Frank
Gore?
I forgot who he played.
Frank Gore.
Frank Gore. Yeah. Once you get all them
Jr.,
you be like, damn. Frank Gore.
Shoot,
Jr.
I remember watching Carlos Boozer at Duke.
Yeah, the first step of like accepting you're getting old is when you start to be older than the first round draft picks. You like, damn, I'm 20. These kids 18.
Bronny James. I remember LeBron. I remember LeBron in high school.
Oh wow, damn.
Bronny James in the league. I mean, I saw. I saw live. I watched LeBron live in high school. He came to North Carolina.
You know what? I'll tell you what I remember. I remember when Michael Jordan's son Jeffrey enrolled in Illinois.
Facts.
Yes, yeah.
I remember that.
I
remember when I worked at clubs in Orlando, I was seeing Marcus Jordan out there wilding before he started.
That's the boy.
I know it doesn't have to do with age, but I saw him.
He was coming to your spot.
That's the boy went to UCF, right?
Yeah.
Ah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Shaq B
And he
says, you know,
turned
you're getting
UCF.
old when
Wait,
you're
hold
old
on.
in
You
the whole
saw
roster.
Marcus Jordan pre-Larsa Pippen, or
Did,
Yeah. Yeah. I
didn't he
did.
switch?
I did.
because he went
Didn't
to
he
UCF.
switch
That's
UCF
what
from
I'm
Actually, I think I was there during. Like as soon like when that stuff was coming out, he was still popping out and dapping me up to get into the club and stuff.
Oh, wow.
And Michael Jordan's, I think his nephews too used to be there too. A couple light skinned cats didn't do nothing but just post pics on Instagram.
Said
thinking they were
pre-Coke
fly.
or post-Coke? Pre-Coke or post-Coke, Jordan?
Oh, yikes.
They're taken care of. They're gonna be just
No,
fine.
he was. I mean, like Orlando is like that. Like
I'll say it was post-Coke.
It was. I mean,
It was-
he was. Yeah,
it was-
definitely post
During Coke.
during.
You saw him
During.
on Coke.
Yeah, during.
Shaq B says, you know you're old when you're older than the whole roster. See? No, because I saw Taj Gibson on the roster the other day. I said, I ain't. Nah. I know I only no damn Taj Gibson out there running around.
How does Taj?
He gotta be 40. How old is Taj Gibson?
He was playing with LeBron.
Taj Gibson, ancient.
First go around Cleveland.
He is 40. He was born in 85.
I think I got Taj, dog.
He's 40 years old. 40 years old. All right, let's keep rolling and we'll get to the look around. 96-90 Bucks lose to the Nets. We don't do game balls anymore. Warriors up over the Kings right now. Thunder are beating the Lakers. Woo, man, the Lakers are in some trouble. They are in some trouble with Austin Reeves and Luke. I heard Luke is getting a second opinion. We'll see what happens there. Mavericks down to the Clippers right now. The Suns are beating the Rockets. Another coach who might be, I don't know if he's going to be in trouble, but a lot of people talking about Ime Udoka and the job he's doing out in Houston. People are not impressed. Bulls beat the Wizards tonight. The Timberwolves beat the Pacers. Raptors beat the Heat. Heat are locked into the play-in. Celtics beat the Killer Bees 113-102. And the Pelicans 156-137 over the Jazz. That's a big score. Hold on, what happened there? 34 from Jordan Poole and 40 from Jeremiah Fears. Okay. That's 156 is a big number. All right. Look around. Well, let's get to the national championship last night. What you guys thought? Your thoughts on the Natty Michigan wrapping things up and getting a dub. Any thoughts there? Thoughts on the tournament? Shout out to Dance Yourself Clean. I just paid him his $540. Appreciate everybody participate in the tournament challenge. Yeah, it's not a bad. Not bad. Well, however you want to count them in Venmo.
Listen, man, I was disgusted in the Arizona Wildcats.
We didn't hear from JT for about 4 or 5 days.
Arizona Wildcats got outplayed, got outcoached, got out strategized. I mean, you know, when they said that Dusty May took the Michigan team to the football stadium and they rolled a mobile court out there so the team could shoot a mobile hoop, people were like, "Oh, why would you do that?" Well, because depth perception is going to be different when you're in a football arena that sits 80,000 people versus a basketball arena that sits 15 or 10 or whatever size. And you watch the game in Arizona. Some of those shots that were 90% go. So a lot of shots going in and out. A lot of shots going out the front end. A lot of stuff. It just they couldn't get that going. And Michigan dared Arizona to shoot threes. One thing I love about this Arizona team is they shot the least amount of threes in the country. But the problem is, there's a difference between not shooting a lot of threes and not being able to shoot a lot of threes. Arizona was trying to shoot. It was just an absolute mess. Hats off to Michigan. And the crazy thing is although Yaxel's gone and Michigan will probably have some roster turnover, they're in a great position to try to reload and get somebody else at the portal. Hopefully, now here's something that a lot of people don't know about Michigan, and this might help, right? John Blackwell from Wisconsin entered into the portal, and you would think, wow, Blackwell would be interested. Well, here's the thing about Michigan. The more you know. Apparently, Michigan doesn't take credits past sophomore year to transfer. So from an academic institution, not going to work out. How do I know that? Well, part of that is because remember how Caleb Love was going to transfer from Carolina and that didn't work out? Well, there you go. I don't think it was because of the credit issue, the junior credit issue, whatever that was, but it was an academic issue, which is why Caleb Love transferred from Michigan for a day or committed to Michigan after he left Carolina and ends up at Arizona. So just here to educate the people.
Yeah, to me, I thought the national championship game itself left a little bit to be desired, but that typically happens, right? Like, you know, you see Michigan, they put up 90 points against everybody in the tournament, and then you got a team that's so well coached in UConn that slows the game down a little bit, and especially playing in that big time.
Hold on. What's his name? Shock beat. Yeah, listen. Oh, no, we're not gonna do this. He said, "I'm here caving for Arizona." We're not gonna do this. This Arizona team went belt to ass all year. Stop it. Just stop it. They went belt to ass all year, even in that elite. No, we're not gonna do this. Okay? They lost in the Final Four. Stop it. You're not being intellectually honest here. When you talk about, you know, they was food, stop it. That team went belt to ass. It was a great Arizona team.
That was a bad loss, though. I don't know, JT. That was a bad loss. That was embarrassing.
It was bad. It was
embarrassing.
Terrible. But we're not gonna sit up here and act like we got to respect them. When they go 38-3, they should stop it. I'm not here for the nonsense. No, we're not doing that.
Yeah, I know, but like, they got there and they got their ass whooped.
Like, they shit the bed. Well, they went 100%. They went 100% shit the bed. Like, you can't even. I was embarrassed. It's the worst effort we've seen from this Arizona team all year. You know, Michigan, boy, they hit the Sweet 16 and they hit the gas pedal for real. Didn't they beat Tennessee by 40? What was that?
Yeah, they put a lot of belt to ass.
And they went to continue with Arizona. You know, Arizona, right?
Arizona's just another team in the way. That's what it was. Just another team in the way, which was unfortunate to see, JT. Especially after Tommy Lloyd did all that. I'm not going to report to the AD, and I'm going to sign this. Man, he's showing his true colors. They had a fairly easy route to get to the Final Four, and then they played a good team. Whooped them. To me, no. Like, I thought, yeah, last night, like, they both shot very poorly. I think you had, obviously, Yaxel was a little hobbled. He didn't play that well. I don't know how that affects what I'm about to say for the draft process. I'll take a look at it again, but I thought he still played he made an impact. But yeah, I think Michigan was just a deeper team. They had way better bigs. Terrace Reed Jr. couldn't do it all by himself. And, you know, you see Ade Mara and Morez Johnson. Like, those guys, they just had depth at the big man position. And then Elliot Cadeau came on late, and they were able to pull it out. They didn't miss a lot of free throws. That was a big note from the game, was just that they were able to take care of when they got to the line. And UConn just missed a ton of shots, and their depth was not there. And so, you know, UConn kind of clawed and fought their way there, and I think it just went how everybody kind of expected it to go. I know you can't count Hurley out to be like, oh, yeah, Michigan was going to blow him out, but I think pretty much most of us knew that Michigan was probably going to win that game. That between Michigan and Arizona, that was probably the national championship in the Final Four. So you saw that play out, and yeah, I was happy with the tournament as a whole, and looking forward to seeing next year.
I think, Chris, you alluded to it, and you said it again, that Michigan and Arizona was the national championship game. I think it kind of came to fruition that night. And I stand 10 toes down on what I said. I think that Mr. Hurley is the best coach in college basketball, and I hate to admit it. I hate it. But he is. To get those guys there to that championship game was impressive. Dusty May, but May is amazing too. He's a great basketball coach, and he had the better team, and I think it showed. Big Ten is just absolutely incredible. Winning the women's tournament, winning the men's tournament, winning women's hockey. Hopefully we get Wisconsin to win the men's hockey. You got #1 baseball team. Like, Big Ten's just performing at an all-time high level. JT, you finally felt like how I felt when the Packers lost to the Bears in the playoffs. Sometimes when it's one and done, the better team got to go home, big dog. And then, you know, it just sucks, man. But I was betting on y'all, JT, though. I thought y'all was gonna do it, man. Brother came out with the braid straight to the back. I thought we was good. I thought we was in the money.
Brother,
that
first 8 minutes, when I text you, I was like, okay, it's looking a bit shaky here. Something. The boys weren't even getting. Typically, they're getting those boards left and right. They weren't getting the boards on defense. I was like, oh man, here we go. Saw Burris pulling from 3, and I'm like, why is he doing this? Man. But that's how it goes sometimes, right? It's the Final Four. It's the best of the best. And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. That's why it's so tough. So man, hats off to Michigan. Salute to Michigan. Second national championship game appearance in the last 5 years or so. And, they got it done. Good for them. Maybe we'll stop talking about the Fab Five. Probably not. I'm just being honest. We're still going to talk about this Fab Five for what reason now? Now that they've got a title. What is this? I don't know.
Other news. I don't know if you saw Kanye West.
He on one.
I don't, huh?
He's doing well.
Very well. Sold out SoFi 2 nights in a row. 80,000 people. I know JT thought he was done. Not done. Bully going crazy right now. JT's like, what is Bully? Go ahead and put that in your Apple Music, sir. Take a listen to it. But I don't know if you saw the concert. The visuals crazy, and actually they said that Kanye bought that stage. This is how much of a visionary Kanye is. They said he bought the stage 7 years ago. 7 years ago he bought that stage, and just now is able to put it into fruition. Again, it's just futuristic kind of stuff, futuristic sounds as always. But the big news is, so he does that, right? Bully comes out highly successful. Now again, it's not like peak Kanye. This ain't. We're not talking about selling 400,000, units. Like you'll see again. Your top guy J. Cole sold 300. Drake when Drake drops, Drake's gonna throw 400. Kendrick is selling 3, so he's not there anymore. But he sells 106, and they play with his numbers too. But he goes and sells. I believe he did 150 something. Which
that's not bad.
It's not bad. Especially to be he's basically independent right now. Yeah. Goes 160. You're not gonna see an independent artist really do numbers like that. But then I think the biggest thing. So point is, he's coming back. He does this, sells out SoFi, and then he's supposed to headline Wireless Festival in the UK, and everybody signs off on it. It's cool. Next thing you know, UK government steps in, and the UK government made some comments about it. And next thing you know, Pepsi jumps out, Diageo jumps out, Rockstar drops. They had about a bunch of sponsorships drop, and the crazy thing is, Wireless was going to continue to go on with the show without the sponsors, and then finally the UK basically said, Giannis. It was interesting because the sponsors thought that dropping him, I guess, was gonna make the show not happen. Wireless basically stood behind Kanye, and so the UK government had to step in, ban Kanye from coming, and then the crazy thing is what Wireless did. You think, okay, they'll just replace him as the headliner. They just stopped there. They're not having a concert this year. They're not having a festival, and I guess my question is, number one, what do you think about all that? But number two, has Kanye done enough to get himself? He's made apologies to the Jewish community.
Well, the answer is no.
Hang on, I ain't finished my question.
I don't need to know. I don't need to know the question.
You finished.
I didn't finish.
Listen, I know what the
question is.
No.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Kanye, your question.
Right. Has Ye done enough? Should he get back in? And then, but number two, even if you think he has not done enough, should the UK government, should they step in and basically, because basically what you're doing is banning. I mean, I don't say again, you're not banning free speech, but it's a cancel culture kind of thing. And the only thing I add, and I'll let you go with it because you know how I feel, so I'm not gonna go belabor the point. But the only thing I'll say is this: I think it's interesting that this man has lost hundreds of millions of dollars,
all to his own doing.
I'm not saying he hasn't, But he's lost. I'm
Allegedly.
not denying that. He's lost hundreds of millions of dollars.
Allegedly.
Well, no, I think he's lost it. He lost his Adidas again through his own fruition. I'm not denying that. Lost his wife, access to his children. He has lost a lot. On his own, he has lost a lot. What I'm saying is, it is interesting that it seems like the powers that be go so far to say it's not enough to lose a lot. To lose a lot, it's not. They want to crush you. They want to kill you. Which, oh, by the way, I will say this too. The UK just had, again, I like Chris Brown. Didn't he whoop Rihanna's ass not too long? It wasn't too long. Didn't I see Rihanna beaten, bruised up?
Well,
But hold on. He's had felony charges. And by the way, you talk about coke. My man is all in it. If that bottom jaw, he got that jaw. He got that jaw issue. So I'm just saying, you got a guy. You got
the Bobby Brown and the Ja Rule. What was that joint? Video. Yeah,
but you got a guy who has felonies, domestic violence issues, who can headline anywhere around the country and go in the UK and do. But you got a problem with Kanye. Again, I'm not saying that he shouldn't face any issues, but for words that he's used, and again, my only other point is we pick and choose when we decide what mental health issues. Because what was the man's name? Did you say you don't mess with, buddy, with the ticks? What's the man?
I don't even remember his name.
What's Tick Man?
The Tourette's guy?
Yeah, what's his name?
Yeah.
I don't remember his name.
Oh, it was cool because he has an issue. He has a condition to where he can wild out and say whatever.
He wasn't shitty. I told him.
But no, I'm not saying. But he's not bad. He's from Britain. I bet you he can make a movie and they ain't gonna say nothing about him. But that's my whole point is we pick and choose. And again, I hate to talk. I got friends in the community, but Drewski make videos about everybody. I ain't seen him make one about that community. You can't do it. You can't do it. You can't. He will not do it. I guarantee you he won't do it. Guarantee he won't do it. But point is, so you kind of, again, I'm not saying you're proving the point, but you're kind of showing. Okay.
Well, listen,
I think
consistency with this stuff is always hard, and it can be a bit fleeting, right? To your point about Christopher Maurice Brown, you're referring to that incident that happened in 2009, roughly 20 years ago, that was absolutely heinous. And again, there's been alleged rumors, whatever, that he's had allegedly had some additional things going on. Now, Karushi kind of alluded that, this dude was wilding on some levels. So I understand that, right? But for the most part, the mainstream coverage of his nonsense has kind of seemed to stop in the last 5 to 7 years. Like, you haven't seen as much goofing. Maybe he says some reckless stuff on Twitter and gets mad at people. He's like a Gemini, right? He's sensitive. I don't know, Taurus or Gemini, something like that. But I think the thing about Kanye is it just seems to be a repeated pattern of behavior, where he comes out and says this, and you blame it on that mental illness that you had. Then you release the apology that, you just happened to be coming out with an album. And Kanye's track record for the foolishness and nonsense over the last, let's call it 8 years, is documented. It is out there. And I think for Kanye fans, listen, man, I will tell y'all right now, his first 3 albums are 3 of the strongest and best hip hop albums that we've seen in the last 40 years. Actually, his first 4 albums. That's my beautiful dark twisted fantasy, right? So his first 4 albums, I think that's right, or was that the 5th? I don't know. I said the first 3 in my beautiful dark twisted. Yep, those 3. I forgot. 808s and Heartbreak. I forgot. I thought, okay. So yes, those first 5 albums, absolutely remarkable. And how many hip hop artists have even had a 5-album run, right? Most hip hop artists, if they get hot, they put their heart and soul in that first album. Second album, doesn't quite live to the first album. By the 3rd album, they're cooked, right? See Curtis Jackson. I mean, there's so many different guys that you see out there who come and go, and for Kanye to have that kind of longevity, for Kanye to do that, you can't take that, you cannot take that away from him. He is arguably probably the most gifted producer hip hop has ever seen, and that's saying a lot, right? Because I'm a Neptunes guy till I die, but I got credit given where credit's owed. Kanye, let me just take a step. He's probably one of the best producers in music has ever seen. There's no question about that too. And the fact that he can be a producer and rap like that, you will never see anything like that. As much as I like Timbaland, it's not the same thing. As much as I like Pharrell Williams, VA Stand Up, it's not the same thing. Kanye West, you got to put some respect on it. You do. Having said that, it takes a long time to build goodwill. You got to make people feel there, and it takes a second to ruin it. And Kanye West has ruined all goodwill with, I think, the majority of his fans. Yes, he may have gotten some new fans too, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all, after some of the stuff he's saying, some of these fans did his concert, I don't know, they just must be conflicted because, he's kind of saying some stuff around the folks who don't really want to be around some of the folks that are at the concert. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I think racism is a bit more complex than we make it out to be, but with the new skin and all this nonsense and stuff that he said, and then wanting to call himself a Nazi and everything else, wanting to stand toe-to-toe next to folks who, I don't know. Anyway, to each their own. Y'all can stomach that concert if you want to. But I think for a lot of people, they're just done. And you listen to his old CDs, if it comes on, all right, cool. Oh, new workout plan, yep, love it, right? But I think a lot of people at this point don't care what comes out of Kanye West's mouth.
But that's the thing, though, JT. You said, and that might be true of a lot of people, but it's clear if you can sell out SoFi back-to-back nights, and you can sell and you can have the album that comes out and you can sell 100-some thousand units independently. It's clear there are plenty of people who
100%
who are still and I don't know that a lot. Let me say this: 99% of celebrities, if they did some kind of, there would be no comeback at all from it, right? And he's been able to do that. What I'm getting at now is it, and again, I'm not saying there are people who will never come back. What I'm getting at is it's not the people seem, let me put it like this: enough people seem to be okay with the comeback. You're the institution. So the issue right now is the people are saying we want Kanye back. There are now the mighty few who are in charge who are like, no, we're not ready. And that's where my problem is that to me, cancel culture means people have made decisions. And when I mean people, I mean the general public has made a decision. We are canceling you. We are done with you. Well, the people haven't made that decision. It's people in charge who are now making that, and that's what I have a problem with.
I think people have made that decision though, because here's the problem, right? You're saying that
the wireless festival sold out. The wireless festival sold out.
I understand that, Trey, but people have made that decision because someone Kanye should be up there from a musicology perspective. He should surpass Drake. Right? He should surpass.
Yes.
He should surpass all that, right? They're not even on the same level. I'm just gonna keep it 100. Kanye West and Drake are nowhere near on the same level. You saw that versus. Yeah, they're nowhere near on the same level, and that's fact, right? Kendrick Lamar said you're nowhere near the level of Kanye, right? You are good at what you do, sir. J. Cole, you're good at what you do, sir. Drake, you're good at what you do, sir. But there are levels to this thing. You're nowhere near the level of Kanye, and yet. You're saying the powers that be have made this decision, right? Well, I think a lot of consumers that were previous Kanye fans have made that.
That's not what I meant. Hold on. That's not what I'm saying, JJ. I'm not talking about whether previous consumers. I'm saying there are enough. My point is there are enough consumers who have made the decision. Yeah, we want him back. If put it like this, whether old consumer, if Kanye could do a U.S. stadium tour right now, he could do it and it would sell out venues all over the country.
He can do well.
Live Nation controls the venues. That's why he can't tour. So what I'm saying is, I agree with you that there are plenty of people who are turned off by him. There are enough people who have replenished that group to where he could come back. And what I'm saying is, you don't always see that. What I want you to comment. My question to you is, I'm talking about the few like. He sold out the wireless 3 nights in a row. They sold out that festival. The UK government said you can't come. That's what I'm getting at is the people decided in the UK. So this is international. The people decided, yeah, we want you. Come on. We'll come watch you 3 nights in a row headline a concert. And the UK government had to step in and say, and sponsors dropped out. They were still going to stand by him. The UK government said no. So that's my question is it right for people at the top to make the decision, no, you can't come even if you have a very, very, very large audience. This ain't like 100 people. This is thousands upon thousands of thousands of people who made it. That's what that's all I'm asking.
100% have the choice to do that, right? As long provided that it's not completely arbitrary. Yes. Let's
But it is kind of arbitrary because you've welcomed abusers to your. That's what I'm saying. What's his name? Chris Maurice. If Maurice is coming, he's throwing balls.
This is different because this is a government entity stepping in here, and what we learned about state actors, Trey, like state actors here, right? So I think for private entity, do whatever the hell they want. Private entity be like, we want you, we don't want you. It is what it is. No, right? Government entity here, I think what you're looking for some consistency in how they interpret their decisions, how they interpret how they do all this. And the question you have to ask yourself was, what exactly was the rationale for why the UK wouldn't let him? Why the UK shut this down? I'm sure they released a reason. I'm sure the UK released a reason, right? And so, depending on that reason, then I think you really would have an argument to say yes, no, this is wrong, this is right? If they had a reason, if they gave a valid reason for it, and I'll look it up. Okay, well then maybe this may make a bit more sense. Yeah. What the hell is that?
Chris be killing me. All right, go ahead. Chris be killing me, man.
Let me
Chris King, wild boy. What's Chris King doing?
Let me interject some super unk stuff. So, for me, the greatest rapper of all time is Sean Carter, Jay-Z. I think Kanye is pushing that envelope.
Other Sean.
Who? Big Sean?
Diddy.
Oh
Lord.
Yikes. You thought you were gonna go with Sean Combs.
Yikes. I think Ye's pushing that envelope on Jay-Z though, man. And I think we are a country of second chances. We are a country of third chances, fourth chances, fifth chances. Not to get political, but you see who leads our nation. So if the leader of the free world, air quotes, could go to UK, there's no reason why Kanye shouldn't be able to go there. And
he has a felony, JT. I'm just saying he has a felony. And you talk about heinous statement. If you talk about statements.
I mean, I hear you. I hear you, right? But unfortunately, guys, we know about globalization and interdependency between nations and everything else too. I mean, how much sense does that make from a global perspective for Europe to ban the president of the United States from coming into their country, or the UK to ban the president from the United States coming into their country because of a felony? Guys, I mean, I understand where we're going
banning Kanye
here, but come on, like.
But you're banning Kanye.
No sense they said he can't step foot in our country based on a relationship.
You're banning Kanye, and your people want Kanye, and all he wants to do is go sing his music and move on.
But you don't know what Kanye wants to do. That's the thing. You don't know what Kanye. Hey, Christopher Maurice Brown. Have y'all seen the interview when he talked about the night he went out to the club and this dude Kanye got on stage and ranted for 45 minutes and then talked about how. He said, what he said, and she didn't stick her finger in my booty. He said something wild like that, and everybody was like, we got to get up out of here.
All right. Seen that clip? So now I'm going to throw another hot take. If you let Michael Jackson come to your country, then there's no way Kanye should not be able to come to your country.
Yeah, Kanye hasn't been convicted of anything either.
What did Mike do?
What did he not
sleeping
do?
in them bed with them kids.
Secret sauce?
I forgot about it. Yeah. Well, listen. Oh, okay, so Mike allegedly was playing in the bed with them kids.
No, there's no alleged.
And by no,
in the bed with him.
If it wasn't inappropriate, you better believe.
Macaulay Culkin.
You said what?
Wasn't he in bed with Macaulay Culkin?
When did that? Okay, look. So the whole, but again, Mike's a different story because a lot of stuff came out after Mike died. right? Like Survivor.
Don't make it
Neverland Ranch,
untrue.
whatever. That came out that he died.
He told on the interview he sleep with kids in the bed. I saw that interview.
I gotta do my Googles.
No,
I gotta do
they
my
made it
Googles.
up. No, it's all lies. They made it up.
Listen, man. I
I'm
don't
done.
even know is Mike did all this weird shit, and parents just let this shit happen. Mike's having a sleepover for kindergartners, right? Mike's having a right.
Weird.
What is the story?
People really be twerking for his ass too. Like people really be
Facts.
like, "Oh, he didn't lose it. He lost his childhood because he was in the Jackson 5." Like nobody want to hear that. But some people twerking for him still.
I'm still gonna go to the movie. Shit. Because the artist. Hey, listen, I like the art. I separate the art from the artist. That's what I get.
If I can't,
if R. Kelly got out of jail right now, I'm going to the concert.
Yeah, if I can't play R. Kelly in my house, I'm definitely not going to that Mike Jackson. Sorry to all y'all.
Listen,
R.
well,
Kelly.
y'all want to judge me if y'all want to, but I still watch the Cosby Show on the grill.
Cosby Show is fire.
Cosby Show is fire. I've been watching Claire Huxtable. Why? Because they are symbols.
And I still listen to Chicken P for my Milwaukee people out there. I still listen.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Hey, JP.
but that's what I'm saying is like there will be some nostalgia. There'll be some people who still consume because they remember who these people are and they just appreciate the talent, right? And I think from a market's perspective, that's the thing about the free market. Let it. There's people who want to consume Kanye. Great. If you think he's trash and you don't want to consume his music or buy the concert, or great, right? I am curious to see what the UK's explanation was for Kanye.
It was about his I can't remember, but it was about it was just about his statements. They said they had no.
Listen, if they don't want to let him come and if they don't want to let Kanye come and just go on an inflammatory.
This is from the prime minister of the UK. So I just so you know, he says Kanye West should have never been invited to Headline Wireless. The government stands firmly with the Jewish community, and we will not stop in our fight to confront and defeat the poison of anti-Semitism. We will always take the action necessary to protect the public and uphold our values. That's where that was the statement from. He also said, "quote: If extremist views pose a threat to the country."
If you look at a government, if you say a government's job is to protect the health, safety, and welfare of its people,
be serious. Who is his hurting? Come on.
I mean, I am serious. I'm always serious. But yeah,
man said he was out of pocket. He said he was out of pocket and he was wrong for that.
Oh, okay, we believe that. Come on, Justin.
He was dressed up in a full Klan outfit. Something wrong with the man. You know something wrong with him. He did an interview with a look. You remember Dave Chappelle, the Clayton Bigsby? You remember he did the Dave Chappelle thing with you remember the Chappelle show? He dressed up like the Klan.
He's wrong with him, man. In like a black Klan robe, something crazy.
I'm saying something's wrong. He was
right. Okay, and you know what? He can take himself straight to get some damn help, and it's not going to be.
And he's already said it. He said he apologized.
But you need more. Look, I think people are done. People have a right to be done with this dude. People 100% just have a right to be done with this dude. At some point, apologies don't work, right? That's the thing about free speech. You 100%
they do if you got that type of fan base. They do.
Say what?
Apologies work. You got that type of fan base because he's not going to get canceled.
The fan base. That's my thing though, JT. The fans have decided, and again, not all of them, but enough fans have decided we're not canceling this dude. We're not doing it.
That's 100% true. And you know what? The fans, right? Well, he's gonna have to do this dance and playing arenas probably for the rest of his life. Some people are gonna welcome you, some people not. You're gonna have to. That's just kind of what comes with the game, though, right? Some countries gonna welcome you, some not. Once you put it out there, I mean, it is what it is, right? You can't. I guess what I'm saying is you have a freedom of speech. You have the right to say whatever the hell it is you want, but you also have a right to deal with whatever the consequences and fallout are.
That's fine. And I'm officially I am officially going on record. I'm boycotting the UK.
With your black ass
I'm boycotting the UK.
That's not cool, man. How you gonna say that? How you gonna say I'm officially boycotting you and they don't want your black ass there?
I'm boycotting them.
It's like we said. What products
do they make?
Crossover.
What products they make? So I know I don't need to support nothing they got. Whatever products they got, I ain't supporting them.
JT, you misspoke on a couple things, man.
You said what?
You misspoke on a couple
What
things. You said
doing?
what did you say? He had 5 albums. Like we gotta be clear about one thing, man. If 808s and heartbreaks don't happen, there's no Drake. He bit that stuff and made a career out of it. Like, and then to say that he got 5 albums, show me an album he missed at. Which one he missed on?
Oh, I say he missed on
Skinhead shit was ass.
Which one? That was on Yeezus. You tripping? Yeezus was fire. The only one to me he really missed on was Vultures. And now I will say since T-Lop, I like Ye though. But since T-Lop, they've all gone a little bit downhill. But
Life of Pablo's epic.
T-Lop was crucial. But yeah, I would say Vultures 2 was kind of
So UK
Yeezus
British,
not,
right?
Shaq tripping. Yeezus is not. Yeezus, it's a futuristic sound. Again, things that he doing sounds that you never sonically.
Right. You've never seen it. But then 4 or 5 years down the line, 6, 7 years after that comes out, then you got a Lil Durk, then you got a Lil Baby, and they biting off the stuff that Ye did. Like, Ye's creative talent, like, I ain't gonna say better than Jay.
Have I not acknowledged that?
No, but I'm just saying,
you try to make it seem like he ain't made nothing since the first.
Listen,
5
I'm not
albums.
saying that he hasn't made. I'm saying that they're not up there at that level. You're absolutely out of your mind.
But it's still better than that. Yeah, it just ain't top 3.
You're
actually,
it's Tiger Woods. It's Tiger Woods. He can win 3 tournaments a year. Compare Kanye to a normal rapper, and his 3 misses are better than their greatest hits.
And Tiger shouldn't have been canceled because he shouldn't have been canceled either just because he wanted to do a little extra on the side.
Where's
Ozzy? Donda 2 sucked, guys. Let's be honest. Donda 2 was shit.
Donda 2, yes. The first Donda was fine.
Vultures 1 wasn't great.
Vultures was great.
Like
the mixtapes, though, them ain't albums.
What do we do?
The mixtapes.
Still pieces.
They mix. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question real quick. Where's Ozzy Osbourne from?
Probably the UK or Ireland or one of them spots.
Okay. And his music led to suicide revolts. So you want to ban Kanye,
Black Sabbath,
but welcome the man that led suicide revolts. I'm just saying though, but I'll be quiet.
I mean, I feel that, right? But that's a very, very long time ago, pre-social media, and it was probably one of those things where how many people knew that? That was a word of mouth story, right?
Doc said Dirk ain't biting off Kanye. Where do you think the harmonizing and the rapping came from? I mean, unless you want to take it back to Robert or Aaron Hall.
Aaron Hall, and listen, man. Aaron Hall deserves. Let me tell y'all something real fast, because I'm an R&B guy. So Aaron Hall and Teddy Riley deserve more respect than they get. Those are 2 men that I think the genre will be in debt to for a very long time. Is Aaron Hall and Teddy Riley, both of them, epic, absolutely epic, entire legends. I just had to get that out.
I will agree with you though, JT, and I will.
You said Ozzy looking up at us right now. That's crazy.
I don't even know what I was gonna say, but I lost it. You got it, though. You won.
Ozzy lived to like 70 something. What didn't he have? He had like a lot of
it's a hard 70.
Parkinson's, drug addiction, a lot of stuff, man.
Wow.
Yeah, you seen his you seen the daughter and have you seen the daughter?
Hey, I forgot about that poopity scoop, whatever that shit was. That was because Drake was supposed to have the that was because Drake was supposed to have that beat, and so Kanye that beat was nice.
It was, and so Kanye basically ruined the song, so Drake couldn't have the beat.
Like, look, Kanye West is so gifted. Did you see that clip of him? They called him up. He was at an award show. He was just in the crowd watching. They called him up on stage. And it was like Charlie Wilson or something.
Charlie Wilson, yeah.
And I was like, man, this dude is so gifted. Like Kanye West is That's how. And you know the thing is, what hurts me so much is I was such a Kanye fan. I watched the documentary came out. You know, I watched all that stuff. I just love the story. I love the hustle. I love how he came up. And I used to listen to College Dropout, the last song on there when he talks
Last Call for Alcohol.
Yeah, yes, sir. And he got up there and he was just talking about his story and everything else. And I was like, man, wow, this dude built a bed in IKEA. Like he was talking about his whole journey and how that worked and how people pulled on him and they kept sleeping on him and how he just had to keep believing in himself and just playing beats and getting better. And I thought that was just incredible to me that this dude literally, there was no way. So he found one. He forced one. I said, man, his story was so inspiring. And then, you know, from getting in the accident and everything else and then, you know, bouncing back from it, I was like, yo, Kanye's story was so, and then to turn into this guy now, it's just like, I'm one of these people, I'm delusional enough to where I would pop some Kanye in and literally just stop at, you know, 2012. And I would just act like he doesn't exist after 2012. I mean, because of everything that's come with it.
You know, and you're not absolutely wrong in what you're saying, but I mean, the musical creativity is just crazy.
And I mean, you didn't even talk about what he did
with
you didn't even talk about from what he did with shoes and everything like that. I mean, he's just an artist.
Like the cultural impact where he made it cool to just be yourself, to wear a pink polo with the collar pop, and you saw 100 million dudes. You saw dudes in the hood walking around with pink polos with the collar pop because of Ye. His cultural impact on hip hop. The only person who could compare to him is Hove. And like I appreciate you, Queen Mamba, and the rest of y'all. You don't think he had an impact on Dirk? Yo, it's crazy. Dirk is a drill rapper. He's a hood dude that started harmonizing because of Ye's cultural impact. And let's not forget, he made Twister as relevant as what he should have been with his production. He made Common as relevant as what he should have been because of his production and who he is. Like
John Legend, John, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot. Kanye's
Chance the Rapper.
He had a lot of art. I mean, Kanye.
Most Def.
2 Chainz. A lot of people came up.
Big Sean.
There's no question. And these are just the artists that he recruited and developed. These aren't. I mean, not to mention Jay-Z got countless Kanye. But anybody who's anybody in hip hop over that
Keys,
who had a record had something produced by Kanye. That was. I mean, Kanye West is. You can't deny that. You can't take that away. You know. But again, somebody had a great.
He might be the biggest.
Somebody in chat said he's a Jordan talent who insists on being Rodman. And I said, man, you know what? That's 100% right. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, but Rodman still got 5 rings, though.
I mean, I understand that, but you get what I'm saying. I mean, Kanye. So it just all went downhill for Kanye. You know what? You know what's crazy? You talk about cancel culture, Trey. You remember when Kanye West got on TV during the hurricane relief and said George Bush was black people, and guess who got over that? The entire country. Whatever.
They got over, and they got over him saying slavery was a choice too. There's only one reason he's not. Now I'm just saying, there's only one reason why he's not able to go to the UK. They didn't ban him because he was talking about black people. They didn't ban him because he wore the KKK. There's only one reason that he's not able to go over there. So again, all the other stuff was forgiven. There's only one thing you can't do that is not forgivable. So anyway,
might be 2 or 3, but I hear you.
Well, I don't know because I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna leave that one alone before Cream City crossover.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to Blue Edwards.
Yeah,
anything else anyone wants to get at? It is 12:33. We took a while on the
I'm just stunned that we had a 2+ hour show tonight. I am stunned. We turned tonight into a 2+ hour show. This is crazy.
We spent a lot of time on we spent a lot of time on Kanye, but I think we would be remiss if we didn't talk about this Malone to UNC stuff real quick.
Go ahead, y'all got it. What you want? Yeah, Mike Malone to UNC. I just say real quick. I like it. I like it. Listen, man, it's everything in the NCAA. It's pro basketball. Mm-hmm. It's pro basketball. So why not act like you have a pro program And why not? Like, it's a pro program, so I'm not mad at it. And I think Mike Malone will bring the energy. And again, I get he's not the traditional route, but again, college is no longer traditional. You throw again. You have some programs, your UNC's, your Dukes, those programs that are still do the tradition. Tradition's kind of dead though. In 2026, the tradition is over. You can still talk about yesteryear if you want to and hold it up. For example, one example, and I'll let it go. Them guys that all went to Kentucky and played under Coach Kyle, who they be cheering for now?
Arkansas.
Tradition's dead.
So here's the thing. I think Mike Malone, by the way, guys, he spent 7 years coaching college. This isn't a new thing. This ain't a completely new rodeo for him. From like 93 to 2000, he coached college basketball. He was an assistant coach at the collegiate level. So it's not completely unfamiliar to him, but I don't know if this is going to work. And the reason why I say that is because coming from the program for the last 20 years, going to the college game, there's a difference in talent. There's a difference in that. I think adjusting is tough. And I also think that the number of 18-year-olds, how old is Mike Malone? Is he 65?
Is he that old?
I don't think he's that old.
Yeah, I don't think he's that old. Let me see.
No,
Go ahead.
He's born 1971. So that's not quite that. Yeah, so he's not quite.
He's 54.
54, right? Okay, so Mike Malone. So maybe it works for him. I mean, him being a little bit younger, maybe that does work for him in his favor. You're dealing with 17 and 18-year-olds. This is just a different ball game from when he was in college.
But are you dealing with 17, 18-year-olds? I feel like a lot of good. You're dealing with 23, 24.
That's right.
It's a little different.
You're dealing with 17 to 23-year-olds, right? That range of 18 to 23-year-olds. Carolina, you are trying to get the top high school recruits out of the country. So every year, so you are going to be dealing with some 17 and 18-year-olds. There's no question about that at some point. But I think it's a different game. He's going to come in. He's going to, just like these other coaches, he's going to have to learn. Having said that, he did a great job with the Nuggets, and I don't think the story I read was that was not their first choice. That was like their fourth or fifth choice. And the story I read was that Tommy Lloyd allegedly was on the way to Carolina until Arizona changed his reporting structure. And that's what got him to sign the extension with Arizona, because Tommy Lloyd was out the door. There's allegedly tension between Tommy Lloyd and the Arizona AD, and he was about to bounce. And then the last minute, they said, "Okay, well, you report directly to the school CFO or school president. You won't report to this AD anymore that there was tension with." And with the $2.5 million bump a year in salary or $3 million bump a year in salary, whatever that number was, that was enough to get Tommy to sign that extension.
Yeah, to me, we kind of knew that UNC was thinking outside the box when Billy Donovan was rumored originally. So for them to go and be able to get Mike Malone, I know his daughter plays volleyball for UNC, but it seems like from the press conference he looks serious about it. And he understands the current trajectory of where college basketball is, and so I think he'll be all right. I truly do. I think the X's and O's, I think he's shown that he can do that at a high level. The style of play is translatable to college basketball as well. Like, you think about running your offense through a big man. Yeah, if they can find somebody that they can get it to on the low block that can facilitate, like, I could see that working at the college level. And so I don't hate the hire at all. I think you try this, you see where it goes, a couple years. Of course, college basketball teams now have GMs and director of basketball operations and recruiting guys that can do that for them. If you can get a good roster that fits the play style, I don't think he's set up for, especially at North Carolina, I don't think he's set up for like failure at all. Like, I think he's going to be able to have the best players, and he's going to be able to have players that fit in the way that he wants to play, and I think he'll be good.
Well, I think if you see up there in Illinois with Underwood, how he went to those Eastern European countries, I think if anybody has a valid reason to go into an Eastern European home and talk about the stuff that they've done for Eastern European players, just look at Joker and look at Malone. I just hope that the Carolina fan base, because I live out here in it, a lot of people are upset. They're saying that they don't want a Bill Belichick part 2 for basketball. Have a little bit of grace with him, allow him to get his footing underneath himself as a college basketball coach, and this can turn into something great. I think that Billy Donovan turning down this role or waiting for the Bulls season to end, he missed a great opportunity to be a la the Nick Saban of college football in basketball, because he could have came back and he understands both aspects, same way that Malone does, but at a little bit higher level, and he could have really have just cemented himself as probably one of the greatest coaches of all time had he came back and developed that Carolina program into a la what Nick Saban did at Alabama.
Well, the question that I have to ask, though, like seriously, the question I have to ask, though, I mean, guys, let's be honest here. Is Carolina a better job than Michigan?
Yeah. 100%.
You think Carolina's a better job than Michigan?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can walk in a living room of a parent and say, I coach for University of North Carolina, and 7 out of 10 parents are going to listen to you before Michigan, I think.
I don't know about that, fellas. That to me, the problem is the fact that it's even a debate is crazy, and that goes to show you how tarnished the Carolina basketball brand is. Yes, it is. Like, you can't. Because I don't think you can objectively say that Carolina's a better program than Michigan.
How many years?
You said what?
Just because they won a championship. When was the last time Michigan won a national championship besides yesterday?
Understand.
Emil Robinson, Dylan Rice,
story. I'm talking about as of now, as of the last couple years.
It's not a better job. I don't know why it would be. Okay, would I rather live in North Carolina or Ann Arbor, Michigan? Okay, there's one for North Carolina. Would I rather have the donor support? Would I rather have the donor support in North Carolina?
But again, it all comes down to how much money to me. Who has a bigger?
Well, and that's where I'm going with this. Michigan, Big Ten money. I got a $75 million a year TV deal, ACC TV deal, completely underwhelming. The game here is about money and what we can pay athletes, how we can get bodies in the door here, how we can cut checks. I'm not sure Carolina's a better job than Michigan.
Money is clearly not a problem for North Carolina.
It may not be, but it may not be as robust as the Big Ten money. And right now you're seeing
JT, maybe totality, but when you're looking at University of North Carolina, you got 4 to 5 multi-billion-dollar people donating to that program. Like, yeah, brother, I hear you on the totality.
I hear what you're saying, but remember, Michigan found $12 million to get that boy Bryce Underwood. Listen, I get it. I just don't think Carolina has the money. I don't think Duke or Carolina had the money that Michigan does at this point. And unfortunately, money is starting to really rule almost everything when it comes to college basketball at this point.
I don't know. I just think Dusty May is a great. I mean, look at you. Asked Juwan Howard which one's a better job.
I'll tell you. So I see Michigan. Let me see basketball. Michigan basketball spent about $10 million on their roster last year. UNC basketball spent about $14 million.
So I'm saying it's not a problem for North Carolina. Money is not a problem for North Carolina.
UNC spent more than Michigan last year on their roster.
Correct.
And they probably will again this year. I'd probably, because think about it. North Carolina basketball is above football. So like it's not even a question anymore. Like they're prioritizing basketball over football. I guarantee it.
Yeah, Duke. To your point, JT. Duke spent about $10 million on their team, so they were comparable with.
I hear you. I mean, I'm hearing all this, but I'm just talking about, like, when you look at the resource pool. Yes, Michigan a lot of that money is gonna go to football, but when you look at the potential resources that Michigan has with that TV deal, okay, Carolina will spend money. Carolina will cut checks, but boy, you got to believe Michigan cut some checks too.
No, I'm not doubting that, but at the same time, like, what are we doing? We're talking about what's the better job. It's North Carolina.
I don't see that. I don't see how Carolina's a better job than Michigan right now. I don't get it.
So,
no.
I guarantee if Dusty May had to pick between Michigan at this point before he got the job, when he said, let's say he's still at FAU, if he had to pick between Michigan and North Carolina, he would have picked North Carolina.
Hands down.
Before Hubert ruined it.
I mean,
Even-
that's irrelevant in my eyes because North Carolina is still North Carolina.
No,
So I think
if they had a couple down
that's
years, I
the
mean,
issue is you're looking at Carolina.
they made the
legacy.
Final Four
Listen, I love
under
Carolina.
Hubert Davis anyway. I mean, it's not that big of a drop off.
Listen, I think the thing is you're looking at Carolina legacy, but I'm telling you right now, I don't see Carolina. I mean, unless you're looking at the totality, program history, championships, and everything else. I don't think Carolina right now. I think it's on par with Michigan. I do. I just don't see how you can say Carolina is a better job than Michigan has, unless you say, well, the ACC is a little easier, so you got a better chance, that maybe you have a better chance of winning the ACC than the Big Ten, right? MJ maybe, right? But I don't even think it's that. I truthfully feel like you go in these parents' living room and you mention North Carolina. North Carolina is going to side with the parents and side with the players as well. And both of them are Jordan schools. So I hear your point on that, JT. But like, I understand this from living here in the Triangle. Like, Duke is phenomenal. They've done a lot more than Carolina allegedly, and hopefully our Carolina fans don't get upset at me. However, North Carolina is still the program of this state. And still the program you
of the entire.
you live there, so you live there.
I don't know that.
I think they're the program of this state, and they're the entire program of the Southeast when it's coming to basketball.
Yeah, maybe because it's a public school.
So what argument is? I mean, my big thing is like, what argument does Michigan have over North Carolina though?
None.
They don't.
Recency by JT and
recency.
recency.
That's what I'm saying. You can't spin it on me and say what I don't understand. How?
The argument I would have is Big Ten conference is a much stronger conference. The Big Ten resources, I'd say Michigan has a crazy amount of resources.
We just said Carolina got the same resources, and not more.
And it's only growing, right? Like, I mean, yeah, right. You're saying Carolina outspent Michigan last year. But listen, Michigan still has $75 million. I guarantee you, if Dusty May goes and says we need $20 million on basketball, we need $15 million, he can get it.
You don't think Mike can't get it? Mike can't get his hands on the money?
You said what?
Oh, he will.
Can't get his hands on the money.
I'm sure Mike can get his hands on some bread. I'm 100%.
He called the other Mike.
You said what?
Let me ask you a question, JT. So we're talking about Michigan. I might say that.
It's crazy to think that Michigan and Carolina will be in the same sentence for jobs right now. Which is
you put him in that sentence. No, you put him in that sentence.
No,
I still think
because they are. I'm trying to tell you, Carolina is not better than Michigan
because of one man. It's pretty clear that they hired the hottest coach on the market at the right time. They made the best hire, and he got them to where they needed to be. But I don't think that still constitutes Michigan all of a sudden because they finally won a national championship. That it is a better job.
They've been far better than Carolina the last 4 years. I'll tell you that.
No, they haven't. No, they haven't. They haven't. If you count the last 4 years, because 2022, well, yeah, they won a national championship.
He might be right on that one.
But no, they virtually did nothing outside of that, though. They virtually did nothing outside of that. Juwan Howard was terrible.
Yeah,
he was god
awful. He was doing slapping people in damn lines. Yes,
face mushing Greg Gard.
Come on.
I forgot about that.
I don't know that they did worse than.
He ain't been Greg Gard. He missed the tournament a few times.
Yeah.
JT, let me ask you a question. Do you think, in totality, over the last 10 to 15 years, is Michigan State the better program
over Carolina?
Than Michigan.
I mean,
I think still most kids are choosing Michigan State over Michigan for basketball, and no disrespect to what Dusty May has done.
Well,
I think Michigan State's still the flagship program of that state.
I think the thing about Michigan State, though, is legendary coach. What will be interesting to me about Michigan State is when Izzo leaves, what happens to that program? Because I do think that part of the identity is tied up in that legendary coach, Tom Izzo, who some people would argue has underachieved, right? Some people would argue he's got one title since 2000. And you've had some strong teams since then,
and not adapting to the transfer portal. I mean, it's the same thing as like when Shaka was going through the whole stint of. I know now they're going to start using the portal, but like it's the same thing. Like Tom Izzo likes these homegrown talents and getting the high school recruits, but he's not actively recruiting the portal all that much. They take like one transfer, two transfers, and you're seeing that kind of I mean, that's why Dusty May has done such a good job. I mean, he landed the best portal guy in the transfer portal last year in Lindeborg. He was a 5-star transfer. They paid him a couple million. Like it just depends on the coach, I think, to me. Like the coaching has way more of a hand in it in college than it does in the league.
Well, he takes the what's my man? The Signetti approach, where you're taking guys. I mean, the average age of that Michigan team was what, 23?
Yeah, and a lot of them, at least the starting 5 was transfers at some point.
Yeah, it was like the average
All
starting
5
age
of
is
them.
23. So you're taking guys. So it's not even as much about developing guys, because you're getting guys who've been refined a bit, clearly a lot more than kids straight out of high school. And so you're taking that guys who've played 2 and 3 years at the collegiate level.
Now your question is, can Mike Malone can he duplicate that as a guy coming from the NBA and get these kids to gel? That's where it's all coaching to me. It's not about who has the better job, because I think that's North Carolina by far. It's just the better coach is at North Carolina than Hubert Davis was. Like, is that Michigan? Sorry.
Yeah, look, and I think the other problem about college, though, is that, again, the NBA, you got guys on long-term deals. College, hey, you could be turning over that roster every single year. Yep. To an extent, you'll be doing that in the NBA. I mean, to an extent, but your cornerstones in college, like, hey, you have a first-team All-American. Okay, good luck, because if he hits that portal or he wants more bread or whatever that is, you're going to be doing that, and you're going to be doing that a whole lot. So I think that just shows how difficult the college basketball landscape is now, because you literally are trying to, you're trying to hang on to what you got.
Yeah, no, that's go ahead. Take the last word on Justin.
No, I ain't got nothing on that. Them brothers settled that for me. I just got one last quick one. I'm not gonna go this top 5 versus the field for y'all, but you see the cap. We in Masters week. So y'all taking the live golfers or the PGA golfers to win the Masters this week?
PGA.
I'm gonna pull a pipe. I'm gonna pull a pipe. I couldn't care. Couldn't care less. If Tiger Woods ain't in it, I don't care.
Oh my gosh.
Should we go 3 hours? Damn, we got 14 minutes left.
Yeah. No, we shouldn't. Let's wrap it right here, man. A lot of good stuff. Man, it is wow. Yeah, we went a long time on a I think we might have talked about the game for like 10 minutes. Good stuff. Bucks lose tonight 96-90 to the Brooklyn Nets. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Will Liggers is possibly one of the best shows you guys have had. Appreciate it, Will. Our guy out here. Appreciate it for joining us. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us watching, listening, whether you're watching on laptop, TV, on your phone, whatever. We appreciate it 100%. Always will appreciate it. Hit that like button on your way. Hit that like button on the way out. If you didn't hit it on the way in. Please like, share, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. We greatly appreciate it. Please tell a friend about the Cream City Crossway. It is the best Milwaukee Bucks postgame show in all of the land. Bucks. When the Bucks play again?
Tomorrow.
And got one tomorrow against Detroit Pistons.
Detroit basketball.
What up, though? So again, we'll see you then. Appreciate you guys for rocking with us. I promise we'll be much shorter tomorrow. Yeah, this has been a Cream City Media Group production from the Group Desert.
JT.
Chris King.
Justin.
If I am the enemy, it's only because I dare to tell you the truth. Don't take no with nickels. Oh, it's upside down.